Hey everybody, it's Darren Tipton with VB Adrenaline, and just starting. We'll get rolling here. Give everybody about 30 seconds here to roll in, and we'll get started. We got a couple coaches texting me here, so just 1 second. We'll get rolling here in about 1 minute with our live signing day special. And like I said, give everybody about 1 minute to roll in, and we'll get our PDF uploaded here and get started, as a couple coaches emailing me here as I get ready to log into the studio here. So we'll get started here in about 1 minute. Okay, let me send one quick text message to Jocelyn, my social media gal. Our PDF was too big for the live stream here, so we don't want to bog down the live stream. So I'm going to have her take a couple slides off, and let me get that done, and we'll get rolling here in just a second. So let me take care of a little technology. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. Yeah, so anyways, it's Darren Tipton again with VB Adrenaline, and we have a couple guests that are going to be coming in here. So as we get, Jocelyn's going to trim that up for us, and we'll get the PDF uploaded with our slides and all of our class information on this signing day. And like we said before, this is the third year that I've done this now, and by far our biggest guest list that we've had doing this. And last year was the first year that we went 8 hours. So we're going to attempt to do that again this year, and I'm going to need my main man Zachary is in finishing his grad classes. And so when Zachary gets in with his grad classes, he's going to come in and he will do the production in the back room. And when that comes in, he can run all the back room, he can do all the slide and all the transition, and I can just talk to the guests. And that helps us get through it. And I don't have to try and multitask. We'll go a lot better. So when Zachary gets in, we're able to do that, and it'll go a lot better here. But he went back to grad school this year, and so we're winging it until he gets in later. But as we do that, we do have our first student athlete joining us right away, and we're going to tell stories throughout the day. And as we go, and the cool thing about this for me is I have been able to talk with so many of these young ladies, some at the beginning, some during, some just months before they signed, some after they signed, and some several times throughout, and have really gotten to know them. And uh, this young lady who is headed to the SEC. And Coco, good to talk with you again, and
Hi,
congratulations.
thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Coco, Nigerian, and headed to Ole Miss. And so, did you have a morning? Did you have a morning assembly at school, or is it still happening? Or talk about your um, situation, your signing ceremony.
So as you know, like for most athletes, we do our signing like at home with our parents in the morning. So I woke up really early and did that today. It was awesome. But then for like my high school, we have 17 athletes, I think, signing today. And I think that's at 3:35. So I've got a couple hours.
Okay, so I was talking with a coach yesterday, and for somebody who was a former college football coach, this tells you how far out of the loop I am with that. Is it actually early signing for football as well, or is it just volleyball today?
We have one football player signing early, or he's signing in general, and he's also going early.
Yeah, so it is football. I always thought that was later in December, early December, but they moved that up
Mhm.
um, as well. And that early signing period, the only date for that used to be first Tuesday in February, um, which used to be crazy. Um, and that hasn't become near as big a deal with their early signing period. But so 17, how many volleyball players then?
6.
Okay. So six from your team. Now, how many of them do you play club with, or any on your club team?
Um, I've played club, let's see. I've only played club with one of them before, and it was when we were like our 12s, I think. Like we were much younger, but I've played at the same club as almost all of the girls.
Okay. So let's get into the college decision and the
Mhm.
process. Um, is volleyball with the decision, and we'll get into this later with other guests and with coaches, but it probably seems like it was a long time ago. And
Yes.
yeah, this decision had been made. But was it a quick decision for you, or how long was the process?
Well, obviously, like the first day you can start conversation is June 15th, but going through the process before that, you're sending film, answering questionnaires, things like that. Um, and so like obviously I'd already been like working towards like June 15th. And I had talked to my parents like a couple of days leading up before that. Just like it's not my own decision to like it's also where do they want their kid to go, right? Like where do they also see the best fit for me? And the biggest thing that they had told me, it was the number one thing was we want you to wait and finish your club season and then commit to a college. And that was probably the most useful thing because I was able to go to nationals and have a lot less stress on my chest. Like I was communicating and having calls with coaches, learning about their schools, but I wasn't pressuring myself to have to say yes that day. I wanted to wait because a lot of times I wasn't able to go to these camps because I had club practice, but it's like I'm committed to my club team now. I'm going to commit to college after. And then I did a couple camps, I think in June, I think I did about 3, and then nationals happened. I actually got COVID, so I couldn't do anything for a week right after nationals. And then it was actually day 3 of nationals, and our assistant coach had, like, the Ole Miss coaching staff, I think, had come up to her, and, like, I'm very sick this day, can't talk or anything. I'm laying on the floor, like, after our crossover match, and they're like, "Coco, this school's really interested in you," and I gave them my phone, and I was like, "Just put it in for me, like, I would love to talk to them, but I can't even talk right now." And I think I scheduled a call for, like, once I was back, and I jumped on a call with them, and I was like, "I freaking love these people."
And so you were, yeah, which is a really neat dynamic because when you get to nationals, there's so many of the class that have already committed.
Yes.
Yeah. And are almost like they're on vacation. There's so much,
Right.
yeah. And then there's that crew that hasn't committed and it's
Mhm.
all that they're trying out again.
Right, exactly, it's that feeling. Even, like, Lone Star is one of the biggest tournaments of the year in Triple Crown, like, the college coaches are coming everywhere to watch. It felt the same way it did at those tournaments as it did at nationals that year, where it's like, "Okay, I might have been talking to, let's say, these 10 coaches beforehand or communicating with these schools, but there's a new opportunity for me to, like, bring in new opportunities to myself at nationals, and I think, like, that was one of the biggest things is either I become on a new school's, like, radar or they become on mine, and I think that was probably the best thing is waiting to commit until after nationals because it really opened the door.
What, let me say what, and we'll let you go. And as we continue on, two things that I always just because I'm also a huge college football fan and SEC. I have to ask you. So you've already been on your official.
I have.
Okay, so how is the Grove at
Yes,
Ole
sir.
Miss? Is it
It's
everything?
legit. It's legit. It is everything it's hyped up to be from like, so every single sports team has their own tent set up and everything. So I went on my visit, like, I think it was the OU Ole Miss game. It was the first time they played each other, and it was like an 11 a.m. game. It's tailgating, there's breakfast out everywhere. Like that was just something that's so fun. And then right where the Grove is, it meets up with the Walk of Champions. So we were able to go and see the whole football team walk out. And so like that was very cool. And just seeing like the entire community be together. And it's like it truly is a whole community invested event.
And then my final question: what drew you to the staff when you talked with them, and since then? Because that part's, as you've learned now,
Hmm.
when you actually commit, that's a really small part. And
Yes.
so, since you actually committed, what have you learned that reassured you that the Ole Miss staff is right for you, and what excites you about going there and knowing that your commitment is right at Ole Miss?
I think the biggest thing, in the beginning was, like, it's a young staff, they're young, they're hungry, but one of, like, it's kind of like a funny thing, but, like, a cute and sentimental thing. When I was at camp and I was talking to the head coach and I was, like, at this point, I was expressing some interest, telling her, like, how much I loved it, and I had told her, I was like, "This is the first camp my dad has not taken me to." My dad has taken me on every single college camp I've ever been to, every single one. Ole Miss was the very first time he didn't go, and she told me when she was going on, like, the camp that she ended up committing to, the school, that was the one her dad didn't take her to, and it was, like, such a small little connection that we had made that I was like, "Oh my gosh, what are the odds?" But then it's like seeing how invested the coaches were, and it's like sometimes when you go to college camps, like you're just gonna do the same drills everywhere. And I think seeing like how they were, no, I want you to mess up. I want you to try doing it wrong. And I want you to try doing it right and see how it feels. Things like that. And then even from just the weekly texts I get from them, the check-ins, asking how my family is, my sister, I think it truly is like for me, I care so much about who my coaches are. I'm around these people so much. I'm going to learn from them. I think that's what drew me to the school so much was who my mentors were going to be, essentially.
Awesome. Well, it was good following you through your commitment, and it your playing days. Now we're all done with you. We'll say we knew you win, and we'll watch you on the big screen. And I'll get to, because even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, I bought one of those boxes, so I get the SEC network. Right,
Good.
I
Yes.
I know I watched 3 SEC matches on Sunday with
Yep.
4 inches of snow on the ground here in South Dakota. And
Oh my.
hey, it's 70 now. It's gone. Don't worry. But I got the box so I can watch SEC matches. We'll be watching you. But no, Coco, congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, best of luck to you. Thank you for joining the show. And
Thank you.
enjoy your ceremony at 3:30. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care. Hey, again, it's Coco to Jerry and heading to Ole Miss. Again, as she said, signed after Nationals. And one of the experiences, we're going to move right on. It's how it's going to go for this first hour. It's back to back to back. And talked with an athlete who recruiting was a brand new experience. And now we're going to talk with somebody who's a veteran of the recruiting game. And but maybe in a new situation this year, his first. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. I forgot. He put together a pretty good recruiting class about 2 miles from where I'm sitting. I guess I forgot about that. But Coach Dan Meske is going to join us. And Coach, I forgot you were a Augustana Viking, so you've done this before. So
I'd forgotten about that too. I didn't know where you were going with that, but yeah, I think I had one recruiting class up there before I ended up back here at Louisville. It was a little bit different with D2, and D2 we used to get a jump start, so we would be able to recruit that class like a couple months prior to D1. I think they still get to do that, but man, the recruiting it's such a sprint when it opens up June 15th, and we're however many months removed, over a year from this class that's now finally signing when they verbaled. But there's so much work that goes in on the front end. It's you said, oh, your class, and it's like, well, I've been here for multiple classes and I was doing different things. And Todd Chamberlain's the big one. I mean, all the recruiting coordinators today, congratulations. I mean, it's such a big deal what those recruiting coordinators do for the programs.
Well, I guess I feel like I've been tagging along with your crew for 3 years. I get called the Louisville Homer, so why not? I'll just
we'll take it.
Hey, yeah, I'll take it too. I picked a good program to be a homer of, I guess. So but following along with you guys, is that we have you as the number 5 overall class, and I don't know if that's your highest ranking. Coming year in, year out, you're right there. And like we talked about this summer with your select camp, it's you've arrived, you're there now. And I think you talked about that this summer where I think you almost joked with me, like, it's people like me who keep bringing it up. You don't like it's not a surprise. You guys don't talk about it anymore. You guys just expect this now. It's your standard is there. It's people like me who bring it up like it's a surprise. But your classes are there every year now.
Yeah, well, I think too, when you say you've arrived, I don't think anybody's ever arrived. And if you ever feel like that, I think it gets pretty stale pretty quick. But what I will say is, playing in national championships, playing in the Final Four, all those different things, it's just more exposure for the program. And a lot of times I feel like it helps you connect better with recruits that maybe wouldn't have known as much about you before, because so much of the recruiting process is done a lot on reputation, to be honest. It's like you have an idea of a program, just like we have an idea of a player before we actually talk to them. And I think that's been the biggest thing for our program as we've had more success on the court. I think from the recruiting standpoint, the reputation of what it is to play at Louisville, what that track would look like for your career here. I think that's translated, and it's just been more clear for recruits a lot earlier in the process where, I remember in 2017 when we were unranked, having to work really hard with the recruit and with the recruit's coach, and then with their coach from the year prior, and then the high school coach and anybody we could talk to about, like, here's what Louisville is, and this is what this is going to look like. And then there was so much time spent on educating about the program and about the experience that the connection of the recruiting it was very difficult, where now we get a lot more time to focus on that connection recruiting wise, because I think players have a much better feel of what, an experience at Louisville is going to be like.
One thing I remember y'all telling me 3.5, 4 years ago when I was just starting, and I remember hearing this also. It wasn't like you guys were pounding your chest, but your staff has always been, and Todd, I think we have to give him a big shout out because he's very good at this and he won't say it. So we're going to say it for him. He has been very good at evaluating talent and he doesn't miss very often. But in the early days, you guys didn't have the luxury of missing. You had to evaluate talent. And as we talk about, like what we do with our PPV levels, you guys knew where you were early on and you evaluated talent above where you were, and especially in the Louisville area, and you went after it and you hit home runs. And we talk even back to the Anna de Beers and the early days, but you continue to find, I don't know if they're diamonds in the rough, but athletes early in the process that are under evaluated by certain websites who love doing rankings. And then later on, everybody's like, oh my goodness. And this year, a couple freshmen stepping up who maybe early on weren't highly ranked. And you guys have been known for that, right?
Yeah. I think it's a couple of things. You mentioned Todd Chamberlain. I think Todd Chamberlain, our recruiting coordinator, has what you call a recruiting eye. And, I'm not sure that I have the best recruiting eye. I feel like I can evaluate middles really well. I've coached that position for a really long time. I feel like I have a pretty good eye for setters. I've seen some really good ones come and go. I think Todd's really good with the pins and bros. I think for Todd and I think we have the most experience on staff as far as evaluation goes. But camps are huge because I think working with a player versus watching a player is completely different. So without the privilege of working with a player just focused on, evaluating, what you're talking about, and especially in the early stages of recruiting is, finding a player's impact on winning currently and finding what that player's impact will be on winning at the next level. And those are two pretty different things. A lot of times, we want to look at just what the individual talent is or how tall they are, or what they touch. But we always come back to just the impact on winning. And that's not always point scoring. It could be culture. It could be a number of different things, but they've got to have a massive impact on winning. And typically you see that, at their level. They don't have to be playing open. They don't have to be playing a specific whatever. Like there's been international players, all of that. But whatever level they're at, they have to have a massive impact on winning. So we've always come back to that to kind of be our guiding light of recruiting, because that's what we're trying to do here is we're trying to win. We're not trying to have, the most, the tallest team or the strongest team or the highest jumping team. We're trying to have a team that can score the most points. And we really value that in the recruiting process.
And somebody I think you're kind of touching on is, and I know point out certain players, you talk about the entire class, but Amira Bailey is one, and I just call her a Louisville recruit because she's a smaller club, right? Smaller club, didn't get all tournament, all this and all that, on the other ranking sites, but one that you guys live on because I know she was a priority that's a Louisville priority. You guys have hung your hat on locking a kid like that down. But she didn't get all the NTDP stuff early, right? And I remember walking in, I don't know if the January or the Final Four one was her first one.
Might have been one of her first, yeah.
But I walked in and the gym was like, when you go in, I call them a big gym setting, right? When you go into a big gym and all of a sudden people are like, who is that? Who is that? And people were saying that about her. And I'm like, yeah, That's a Louisville kid, right? And
Well,
that, go
there's
ahead.
got to be some development too. Like we were fortunate enough to have her really young. You know, she's local, so she's in state. So when you talk about that's a Louisville kid, the in-state part of it was huge. When there's an in-state talent like that you feel like can, you know, similar to Anna DeBeer and Elena Scott, you got to set up traffic cones on the highway and not let them get out of state. You know, you got to shut down the highways if you need to keep a kid like that in state. But the biggest thing was the development. And we were so fortunate because she's local to have her, I think in her first camp, she was in like the 8th grade. And when you're in the 8th grade and you're, you know, 6'2" or 6'3" at the time, whatever she was, you're figuring out your body and you're probably not, you know, the most skilled at that point. And that doesn't really matter. What matters is, okay, where were you there? And then where are you 6 months from now? That's what the recruiting process is. That's why you watch kids multiple times. And so for Amira, that's what we continued to see was, man, she just kept getting better. Her arm kept getting better. And these things that weren't just, oh, she's getting stronger. It's like, no, she's like getting better at the sport. And when you talked about, you know, she was in an area of the country that there's not a big club to really play for. So they're not really playing open. She's not getting 3 or 4 practices a week and she's still having this progress. For us, it was a no-brainer that it's like, okay, this is kids get better at Louisville, but you also need to get better before you get here. You don't all of a sudden just learn the skill of improving. Like you've got to be somebody who improves throughout your juniors career to anticipate improving in your college career as well. And, you know, she reminds me a lot of Kara Cressy in that regard, where Kara, you know, a 6'6" player who was probably undervalued. The word was out a little bit more on Amira than it was with Kara, I think, for whatever reason. But very similar in the fact that, you know, a lot of room for improvement at the next level, but also coming in with a great, you know, great skill set and a great foundation.
But see, like I look at Jordan Gray, and Jordan, I remember seeing her at her first MTDP. And the start of it until the end of that week, she just looked like a kid who could really jump high and was scared to death. And I mean, you know, and by the end of it, coaches were like, oh, hey, like she was a magnet, and all of a sudden there were like 8 coaches who really wanted to help her a lot, right? And who ends up with her at Louisville. And you know,
you know, and pins are a little bit different in the fact of like Jordan developed or even maybe already had a little bit of, you have to have, when you're talking about the big gym feel, you have to have a little bit of like turn your head pop, where like Anna DeBeer had that. And I think Jordan has that as well, where you can kind of be not watching, but out of the corner of your eye, you see this kind of event to the ball and then you hear this pop. And Jordan's got that. And I think as a pin hitter, you have to have that pop on the ball. And it doesn't matter the mechanics of your arm. There's different ways, but like the way that you approach and connect with the ball, it has to have a certain pop to it. And that's what I think really stuck out for us with Jordan is like, you know, you're not even really watching. It's like you start looking at that other court. Like I didn't see that, but I kind of heard it. What was that? And that's Jordan hitting the ball.
Yeah. I guess indirectly, I was trying to give you guys a compliment that you get these girls and they go to you. And I mean, even with Amira, like, and being a small club and from Kentucky, it's hard to hide anybody these days, right? And whether you play open or not, it's that everybody thinks they have a diamond in the rough, right? And they try hiding them. You guys have successfully targeted them, and everybody wants to say like, oh, this was the under-recruited kid that we turned into an All-American. No, you guys have done it multiple times. And I understand, yes, I tweeted earlier in the year about the right side. And I do understand for other coaches listening out there, I do know, yes, Louisville was not the only school to offer her. I did not say that. For the record, I just simply said that the other ranking websites did not have her as a top 50 in the country because she only got to swing twice a match. That's what I said.
Don't miss those swings though. But when you talk about the smaller club too, you know, Ellie Strecker is somebody that I think fits that bill you talked about where, you know, I remember the first time seeing her, it was the, you know, end of the day because, you know, it opens in the morning and clubs in the afternoon. And it's like the 5 or 6 o'clock match. And, you know, as coaches, we were kind of itching to get out of the gym. And it's like, well, we got one more kid to check off the list. And you roll up and Ellie kept getting taller and taller as we got closer. It's like, man, this kid's got some size. Then we watched her warm up and then we had to watch the whole match there. And, you know, again, the word didn't get out on her as quick as anybody else because she was kind of later to do those NTDP events and then she wasn't playing open. But for us, that was pretty irrelevant because of what we were able to see. But again, I think that just speaks to your point of like open club, like, whatever spot you're in your recruiting process, it doesn't totally matter. What matters is the fit and finding a place that can kind of get the most out of you.
And would you call, because I don't know, and people on the internet are very nice to point out how little I know about volleyball. I say high ceiling. But what I mean with Ellie is I saw her at the Final Four last year is where I met her. But even in a year now, talking with her yesterday, I can see the growth and putting on strength. And then she will find out in a hurry how much she will grow in a year. But when you look at her 2 years ago and you see some of the skill, but you see her frame and you're like, okay, skill now, frame, that's what I call high ceiling.
Yeah. Well, another part of that too is, and it's so different every part of the country and everybody's club they play for. But Ellie was an elite softball player up until like 15 or 16. She was this great pitcher and all these different things. And it's like I remember thinking that when I watched her play 16s, like she's played a lot less volleyball than everybody around her, and look how she looks.
Yes.
Now that she's kind of got all that time for the next 2 years, what's that going to look like when she kind of doubles the amount of time she gets to invest in this? Plus, she was pretty coordinated, and I think that the multi-sport thing really helped her with that, just the way she moved, even if it wasn't like a perfectly packaged kind of finished deal yet. I do think the multi-sport athlete, if you're enjoying what you're doing, there is time. And I know I even feel it, my oldest is 11 now, of just people that are starting to specialize, and all that stuff like that. It's just like, it's hard to get past that, but I really do think it works out the way it needs to. And I think being a multi-sport athlete really helped Ellie. I love that, especially I love it from all volleyball players, but middles in particular, because what they end up doing as a middle is just so kind of specific and technical, and it's kind of the least amount of skill set. So you're just really diving into a couple really important things. I think that being a multi-sport athlete helps with that because you end up being so specialized as a middle. I love a middle that's played multiple sports.
Yeah. Well, and even Ellie, it was great. We meaning me, forgot her off the edit, and she had messaged me, and the reason I had responded was because earlier some people had talked about her ranking, and I was really open just simply because it was more her physical growth when I looked at it, right? Like when you look at someone like her or just her growth, or like an Amira, there's a difference there, right? Physically.
I don't know. I don't know if you were standing on stairs when you met Ellie, but Ellie's, I mean, I'm to be a middle here. It used to be, when I would watch them, like I'm 6'2". It used to be like, they got to be about eye level with me. I don't think I've ever looked down or straight at Ellie, and especially Amira. I mean, Amira, I'm like, whoa. So like now my kind of standard for middles is that I want to be looking up to them a little bit. I do think the physicality in the middle is pretty important. Now, clearly with our program, you can see this year and years prior, like on the pins, not as much, but I think, the price of admission in the middle, some length really helps out. And I like that from both of our middles here. And we're having great success with it in our current season with our, Kara and Hannah Sherman, our current middles.
Yeah. Oh, no, not height,
Oh.
Physicality. No, strength. No, not height.
I got you.
No, not practice. What are we talking about? Practice? No, not height. Physical, strength wise is that's what I was talking about. And the other thing, she was, when kids will say, well, I'm a top 50 player. And I said, well, according, my thing is according to who? Like prep, what? Like, again, we need to get, rid of that. Like that, you guys will understand.
I hear you. Well, that doesn't score any points in college. So
exactly.
And again, it's, and especially with the older players in our program, it's great what you're doing for the sport and the exposure, because the recruiting process should be fun. And all of this is a celebration of all the years you've put in to even put yourself an opportunity to play in college. But for our juniors, if you were to ask me right now what a junior was ranked recruiting, there's zero chance I would be able to. I wouldn't even be in the right stratosphere, because it's a celebration of all that hard work, and it's your moment. But then, once you're a sophomore or junior in college, it's like that's forgotten, and there's so much volleyball that's been played. And that's what's cool about, I think, the trajectory of a career is there's these really fun moments throughout, and this is a really fun one for obviously the kids that are signing.
Yeah, like we have a guy coming to join me who runs the Volleyball Nerds site, and their editor. He's great. He's coming to join me, so we actually have somebody on here who knows how to talk volleyball the next 6 hours. But that wasn't my purpose of starting this. My purpose was to bring media because I love National Signing Day.
Yeah. Well, and it's needed too. I mean, it matters, Yeah. So I think that's really cool.
But in like football, when on Football National Signing Day, they say, okay, you're bringing in 2 5-star wide receivers. How are they going to coexist? Like that's what they do in football. And we need to get there in volleyball, right? Like you need to be able to have those discussions without everybody's feelings getting hurt. And right? Like we do.
Yep.
And one of my things with one of the other classes slightly above you in the rankings is you do have 2 top rank the exact same position. And I'm like, how do they both play? Like but if I say that, I get in trouble, right? Like, and I do wonder because last time I checked the lineup, there is only one of that position. And so those are questions silly me has.
Fire them away, man. Whatever you want here. So,
but hey, before we go, I do have to ask you, Elsie, tell everybody a little bit because I've got to interview her.
She's awesome. With her. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously recruiting, you got to cast a wide net. And I think our first true international player we've brought in. Now, we've had transfers that have, been international, but I'm not sure we recruited international on the front end, maybe since Iko Jones from Jamaica. So there's got to be a really good cultural fit. And I don't just mean from, coming from Finland to the United States, but just from like what the volleyball team is going to be. And that's easier if you grew up in the States and you've seen some college matches or gone to camps, where with an international player, that's quite a bit different. So it was nice. Elsie was able to come to a camp, which was a huge commitment from her, even on the front end before she committed, to come to camp and explore what Louisville would be. And then she just blew us away. And the personality is a really big deal. It would be so hard for us to take a player without physically being in person with them. And she just blew us away from the jump. And that was before we even started, playing volleyball. And then she's such a stud. And the great thing too for internationals is they've got some different rules out there where, we can watch her now and they get to shift when the ball gets tossed for a serve. So she's playing in a league where she's passing middle, but then shifting to right back when the serve happens, which you can't do in the United States because of the rules. So she's doing all this high level stuff that I think when she kind of comes to our game, certain parts of our game might feel like, oh, feels a little slower here. This is a little different. So we're super fired up about her.
And her personality is going to fit right in with your crew.
Oh yeah, such a fun player and fun person to be around. So I've always said, word association, Louisville volleyball, fun. Like it's fun to be around it. It's fun to be here. So she's gonna be a really fun player.
And then can we end with, the floor general from Texas? First of all, can you tell everybody exactly? Do you know how to pronounce her last name?
You'll correct me here. I get these setters too with the last name. So Blair Tybo is what I've heard. But man, what a tough last name too. I've heard so many iterations of it. And Blair is just, again, played for, a top team her whole career. And I think the hardest thing of that too is when you play on a team with so many weapons, the setter is such an interesting part of that because you've got to manage, who's getting how many attempts. And there's so much going on that if you're a setter and you're just, you don't have many weapons around you and you've got to create every win that has ever happened, you're not getting that experience at what it's going to be like in college. In college, every player is good. And I feel like Blair's, already gotten that experience with how it's going to feel to have multiple weapons and multiple options at any given moment. That could be the right answer. Who are you going to set here? Well, I could set a lot of different people. So plus the national success they've had with winning, in the open level with 17s. I always think when you win at a high level, the setter and the libero are the two players you really want to look at and say, like, why is that team successful? And it's part of the reason we recruited Elena Scott. She was a setter for a team that was really successful. And it's another reason that we love Blair is, you can't have Blair on a team without it being a good team. It's not like, oh, Blair's always been on good teams. It's like Blair won't be on a team that's not good. Like there's a correlation there. So, and again, you talk about the personality too, just an absolute home run fit here.
Yeah, and I think this is you hit it right there, and we'll let you go on that. It's a home run class, the best class that Louisville has brought in until, and Coach can't talk about this, but I can, until next year when we talk to him, because according to our data, that'll be even better. But we'll talk about that.
More on that later. So I'll put it in my calendar. I'll see you in a year on this same one. You're doing 6 hours?
8 hours, buddy.
Oh
8
God.
hours.
I got practice in the middle of it, but I'll tune back in. Good luck. All right.
You tune back in. Yeah. And listen, we got a suite, and I don't want to see you anywhere near it in Kansas City, buddy. I will see you on media day in Kansas City, friend.
Love it. All right, Darren. I appreciate you. Good luck with the rest of it. Go Cards.
All right. Go Cards. Take care, buddy.
See ya.
Coach our 5th rated class in this one. All right. Now, our next guest, and we're going back to back with this class. And you want to talk about Collegeville. Oh, Millie woke up from her nap. But you want to talk about Collegeville. There's a place that College Fever is going right now. It's this place. And I love this class just for their spirit. This kind of got this program going a little bit with this one. We're going to see I don't know. I've watched this club team a little bit, and I've watched this recruit a little bit. We're going to see. I'm going to test. Sarah, welcome.
Hello.
All right, here we go. Who?
Hoosiers, yes.
Okay, good. I didn't know if Matheny wasn't here. I didn't know if you would do she seems like the cheerleader of your group. I didn't know.
Yeah, of course.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's hour 42 minutes in of 8 hours, so I'm good right now.
Yes.
But call me tonight and we'll see. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, how does it feel to make it official?
It's like, it's a dream come true, but it's like so weird because like leading up to this point, you just like are like, wait, like this is signing day. Like I feel like I've just been signed and a part of the program for forever. So it's like, wait, today's like the day.
Yeah, and it's weird with volleyball, where it's kind of not anticlimactic, but you guys, and especially your crew, I feel like you guys just jumped in and hit the ground running. As soon as you guys committed, you just kind of hopped in, were part of the program.
Yes. They literally make you feel like every time I go to that, like the place, I'm like, when I have to leave, I'm like, wait, I'm leaving. Like, I'm not a part of it yet. Like, it feels so like home already. And it's like amazing how they can just make you feel like that. But it's like, wait, I don't want to go yet. I shouldn't go yet. So
I bet your parents are like, no, you get back here.
You can come home for a little bit.
Mom's like, no, you're coming back. I'm not ready.
Yet.
Yeah. So talk about that, because I remember your class, and coach is actually coming on right after you. But I like their attitude, and Rachel, Coach Morris, I've gotten to know her really well, and their hard work. People don't understand in the Big Ten how hard it is to climb a step. It's when you get to where Indiana is, it's so hard. It's so hard to take one more step and just, okay, now we're just going to replace Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, now all we have to do is just move up to 4th and knock off, or get better than Wisconsin. Or like, oh, now all that's next is a national championship, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Like they're national powerhouses that are in front of you, and it takes a lot. And Coach Aaron has just committed to doing it. Penn State, you just knocked off Penn State, and they are perennial national championship programs that you don't just beat. They take years. And I've loved the attitude of building that Indiana has had.
Yes. They've had they just believe so much in the program, and they can see where it's going, and they believe, and they let us know that the Big Ten is a fight every day. They let us know that all the time. But it's they take pride in that, and every day in the gym they make sure that it is a fight in the gym, so then it correlates and stuff like that, and that's what I love so much. And I think it's just they've believed in it for so long, and then they've seen it coming, so just to see the girls after the Penn State game, it was everyone was it was for Steve and stuff like that, and it's so cool to see that it's they make it so the players want to do it for them. They want to show that they are helping them so much they can do it for them, stuff like that.
And I don't know how much you probably don't talk to administration or things like that, but the buy-in and the commitment from administration, there's so little long-term investment nowadays that and I guess I'll ask Coach this, but there has to be long-term investment, because it doesn't happen in a year or 2 years or 3 years. And Indiana has literally done it, just a step, a step, a step. And I've sat back and watched it's step, 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 and you can see the program. And let's be honest, there have been decommits, there have been transfers, but Coach just keeps getting better. And
Yeah.
And I think they've also used the we won't sacrifice integrity to bring in the wrong people. And
Yeah. They emphasize that all the time. Steve's always we want people who want to be a part of this program. And it's all these girls are bought into, so it's kind of unstoppable once you get girls that buy into the program just as much as the coaches, because they emphasize that all the time. It's how we want people that want to be here, not just naturally Indiana. It's we want to be here.
so talk about that with you. And I know you is okay. I would assume you and Mallory, are pretty close, playing together when you guys committed.
Yes.
Fairly close together. If it's okay that not to group you together, but you committed close together, you played together. And there just was a lot of momentum when you guys committed in that class. And I talked about culture and positive locker room presence as much as your talent on the volleyball court. So what was it for you that made Indiana the right choice?
Yeah, so I went to camp 3 years ago maybe, and I was just went to camp, and I remember still to this day when I got there I was a day late, but Rachel saw me driving by and smiled and waved, and I was wait, they know me. It's just so weird, but and they just I guess just how they make you feel, how the coaches make you feel, the competitive atmosphere. I'm on the court, they're so competitive, and it's they say play hard, play fast, and it's constantly that in the gym. But then when we're off, I'm wait, is this coach my best friend? I could tell him anything. So it's the two things they put together, they do it so well. And it's just I love the balance of the coaches can be your best friend, but they also can push you, and I'm okay with it because it's they have that good relationship with you off the court, and I felt that, and that's such a high thing because I just want to be surrounded by those people.
And with Coach, because I've researched this, he comes from the Russ Rose coaching tree, Midwest, and pretty intense, and so I've asked around, I've looked into it. What do you think about his coaching style? Because he has very high expectations, very intense when he coaches. What research have you done there, and what do you think about the way that he coaches and his expectations?
I think he has an expectation for the gym, but like research, I think like June 15th comes around, but I think like the leading up to June 15th is just as important and like almost as important because like the amount of research you do on the coaches and stuff. But I think like he's so like he's someone I just want to please in like everything I do. I just because like some coaches here and there, it's like I just want them to like appreciate like what I'm doing, all that stuff, and like he shows it so well, and like I just want to please him and everything I do, and like all of those coaches, and they make you like they help you, but then when you do it, they give you that high five for doing it. So it's like, yes, I did it for them, and like I love that feeling, and that's exactly what all of them do.
Yeah, I related. I got to spend a little bit of time just learning, being around. Not a lot of time, but a little time researching Nick Saban with football, and that's exactly very, very high standards coaching and very tough. But he cared about you off the field, and I think that's why players felt the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
They knew he was going to be extremely tough, but they also knew when they did it right.
Yeah.
Give him a hug, high five,
yeah.
or do anything for him. And that's why that level of excellence was there. And you guys are there to be great. I mean, you're not there to lose.
Yeah.
And I also watched you play club ball. You guys had pretty high expectations in club, right? I mean,
yes,
you train pretty hard, right? So
like it just through club kind of taught me that like the group of people you surround yourself with or like the outcomes you're going to get on that court, like we knew what our goals were as a team and we pushed for that every single day. And it's like when I saw that resemblance in Indiana of like believing and pushing every day for that goal, it's not just like settling for like what they've done, like constantly they've had so much success this year, but they're always like that's just the start, like this is just the start of it. And it's like stuff like that. It's like when we won our first national championship for club, we were like that's just the start, like we have so much more in front of us, and like we constantly were like never enough. And it's exactly what I saw in Indiana. It was like wait, it's like resemblance of the two.
Well, and I think I've had the pleasure of watching and following Coach Nelson at Vanderbilt, and they always say shatter the ceiling, and they use the term, do you want to be first or do you want to be next, right? And you guys, in a lot of ways, have that opportunity to do a lot of firsts at Indiana, and it's worth training that hard. Don't you think it's worth doing?
100%.
Yeah, because think of the memories and all of those things that you're going to do. What about the upperclassmen? What do you find watching? Because I know you've attended quite a few matches.
Yeah.
And so what do you think watching them? What are they telling you? Because there's been a young players that are playing now. There's a nice young nucleus that you're coming in to join. What are you hearing from them? What's the attitude? What's the vibe with Indiana?
Yeah, they always emphasize like how good the team culture is and how fun it is to be a part. And it's like you work hard just to push each other in the gym. They keep saying that, but then off the court, you're my best friends, and that's exactly what it is. And like the upperclassmen have built this. They've started this like tradition of excellence, I guess you could say. So it's like without them, the start of this like couldn't happen. So I like give full credit to that. But I was at the game. I forget which game I went to, but afterwards I was talking to one of them, and they were like, I know everyone has to say this, but like truly the team culture is so good and it is so fun. Like I wouldn't just sit here and say this, and I know everyone says it, but I wouldn't sit here and tell you this if it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, that's like how I feel. And I just like it's so good to hear those things because you're like, okay, that is what I feel. And it's like, okay, that is what's going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it's like that question of like, is the team culture good? It's always a yes, but they emphasize how it is like truly, and they go in depth all the time about how like they're trying to build that, and that's shown on the court and off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also like what coach has done with this recruiting philosophy. He's brought in several of you from winning club programs.
Mhm.
You know, a couple of you from Internet that have won national championships. I know there's a couple from Munciana. You know, that Midwest hardworking, right?
Yeah.
Those limestone, where he's from, as well, but that come from those clubs with very high expectations. And I've always been under that philosophy as well, that if you know how to win, you, like you said, you guys had very high expectations. You don't lose that when you go to college. You bring that with you.
Yeah. And I think like as he recruits and stuff like that, like he does such a good job because I like go up and I meet this girl for the first time that's committed with me and going to be my future teammate. And I'm like, wait, I just talked to her for 5 minutes and she's already one of my best friends. Like the personalities he like recruits are all so similar. It's like so weird. I don't know how he does it, but it's like, wait, every time I go to camp or meet someone or like anything that's going to be my future teammate, I'm like, wow, like this girl's good at volleyball and I've talked to her for 5 minutes and our personalities are already so close. Like it's like so cool how he recruits. So
Yeah. So explain to me, who is Indiana's biggest rival? Is it Purdue?
yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Okay. Because Ohio State's got to be Michigan, right? So,
Yep.
but I mean, you're in the Big Ten, like rivalries.
I know.
You have a rival every weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the Big
Yeah.
Ten's about.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you get on board with me? Can we make rivalries a bigger deal in volleyball? Can we do it?
I know. We should.
We should.
My coach did a good job. He did the Purdue Indiana game at the Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and I thought that was so cool. He took away his home game, and he even said like, "I have a better chance of winning at home, but for volleyball, like we need to have this at the Fieldhouse." And it was like exactly. I was like exactly because it was such a cool environment. I went to it.
I know. That's bigger. And then we just need you guys to like not like each other as much for one night. Like
I know. I know. Afterwards, all the girls are like pictures. I'm like, oh yeah.
I know. Yeah, like afterwards. See,
Yep.
I was watching Kentucky. Did you watch Kentucky versus Tennessee? There was
I followed along with the scores. I watched Kentucky, Texas, but then I didn't watch. I followed
little smack talking. Little
Yep.
smack talking going on.
Well, I even went to the Indiana Iowa game. There was a little bit there too. It's a part of it.
Guess what? Guess what we had to do? throw the card. Can't do that. We don't let girls do that. That's on girl, so we had to cut that off. No, we couldn't let that go on. By God, it might be exciting. So I don't know. But hey, Sarah, awesome. And you know what else? Thank you for the nice DM. This takes a lot of work. I love it, but it takes a lot of work. And you just simply saying, hey, this is really cool. That made my day the other day. So thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
Well, yeah, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. So thank you very much. That made my day. I appreciate it. And we are on the Indiana bandwagon big time. I love, especially Coach Rachel works her rear end off. So we appreciate it. And but now, can we do this one more time with a little more gusto? Can we?
Yes.
All right, you ready? All right, here we go. Who?
Hoosiers.
So,
I'm
coming back after spring ball. And
okay.
I want that a little better.
Okay, I'll get it better when I go. Not there yet.
All right, Sarah Stoberger, everybody, newest member of the Indiana Hoosier team. And Sarah, best of luck to you. Keep working hard, okay?
Thank you. Tell Steve I said hi and I love him.
I will. I will tell him that for sure.
Okay.
All right, take care, Sarah.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, as right before we let the Creighton staff in, I'm going to bring in my guest host. And you got to unmute yourself there, bud. But how are you?
Yeah. Is that working? How can you hear me?
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. It's gonna be fun. Like I said in our phone call yesterday, this is new for me. The version of this now, going from graphics to here we are.
Well, don't be nervous. I mean, it looks like, I mean, everybody's relieved. They're like, hey, we got somebody who knows something about volleyball now. So I did the best I could for the first hour, and but we'll just wing it, and you just introduce yourself to everybody quick. Unless you
Yeah.
want to.
My name's Eric Rangel. I am from a small town there in Texas. I've been playing volleyball in the volleyball world since 2009. I mean, I've been a fan greater than that, but like actual playing to 2009. And I've coached for the past like 6 years, on a pause now because of my active duty service in the Coast Guard. And we had this huge fan base of the volleyball nerds, and then we turned it into a greater outlet with polls and group chats and game watching and all that stuff. So here we are, the volley nerds, and it's grown into the beast that it is now. So
Yep. And so Eric is, well, honestly, he's one of the volley nerds, are one of the few people on the internet who are nice to me. So I reached out to him, and we started chatting. I said, hey, come on, and you want to help out? So he decided to join me, and he takes care of all the fan club today. So he's joining me, and we're going to talk our rankings and just chat during the downtime if we have any. But Eric, as I tend to do, we didn't get behind schedule because today's about the coaches and the athletes, so we can't really be behind schedule. And so, but with that being said, we have our next crew all the way from the state of volleyball, and I don't know if we dare say. I like to say Omaha is a Blue Jay town, but I can probably say that. Ryan,
yeah.
Coach Rosen, and Izzy Ashford from Creighton Volleyball. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great day to be a Blue Jay, right?
It is a great day. Did you guys?
Always.
You know what you need? You need one of those cameras. Just you need the dual camera, and then one just shining down on that court.
Yeah, we are very fortunate. I truly think we have the best court and maybe in the world. I mean, it's a one of one that TerraFlex made for us, and I'm sure lots of people are gonna copy and do that now, which is great. Again, it's awesome for our sport, so we love it, and very fortunate to be playing on it this year, and really special for our team.
Yeah, that thing is unique, but let's get into, before we start talking court fashion, let's talk recruiting, because we talked a lot about your well, I guess we can't talk about your 27 class, which I love, by the way, but you guys can't talk about it. I love it because I thought it was the new age of Creighton volleyball, but I think this 26 class, even though, Brian, I gave you credit, this felt like an old school, like brick and mortar foundation, old school Creighton volleyball of what built you guys, Coach Booth. Like, this is a Creighton volleyball.
Yeah, I agree. I think we consistently throughout the history of our program and the rise, we don't care about numbers as far as the number one recruit and number two recruit, because I can tell you Nora Sis wasn't on a list, Ava Martin wasn't on a list, Kiara Reinhardt wasn't on a list. We want people that are going to come in eager to work hard, eager to get better, and build this program. And man, we could not be more excited about this 26 class as far as who they are as people, who they are as competitors. A lot of Midwest love in this class, and we are really excited about all four of them and how they can impact our program.
Okay, now I like this class.
Same, big class.
But these guys, I like them because I know most of them, and I have stories about most of them, so I really like them. But we have to start out with. I'm calling her the franchise. I call everybody's number one recruit the franchise. But Raina, let's talk about Raina Christensen. And I like to talk about Raina because at the end of, or June 1 to June 15 of their signing period, so right leading up to signing period, camp season of 2026's, so a year and a half ago, she was one of the hottest names in that class. Yeah. And as people were jockeying and the setter dominoes were starting to fall, she was the name that was rumored to be at about 5 or 6 different landing spots. And I feel like she was priority number one for you guys. And so locking her up was a pretty big W for you guys. And so getting her, let's talk about the franchise.
Yeah, I'll let Izzy chime in a second too. But yeah, she was our first commit of the class. I think she committed maybe 2 hours after our first phone call on June 15th. And had opportunities to go to lots of top 5 programs. And we spent a lot of time on her court and building relationships and communicating with her coaches, who we've all become like really close with. We felt like she was the best true 5'1" setter in the 26 class. And her size at 6'2", her blocking ability, her ability to score, all of those kinds of things. Obviously, like for all of her teams, she's had to hit too. There was one time I think she hit middle at one point in high school. And so like she can take over a match in a lot of different ways. Like we're not looking at her to do those things. We've recruited her solely as a setter, but also love that she is offensive minded. We had a pretty good offensive minded setter for the last 4 years of our program in Kendra Wade. And not to compare Raina to Kendra, but we love that she has that kind of like grinded chip on her shoulder, like offensive, gritty personality. And Izzy actually has known her for a while, just from some different ties. So I don't know, Izzy can kind of chime in on that.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch her over the years. I've known her for probably 10 years, just from being from Minnesota. We used to work together a little bit and had some connections, some family connections. Her cousin used to play against me all the time, and I went to college with her other cousin. But yeah, just getting to watch her experience from afar and kind of get to follow along in like the biggest moments. It was so exciting to see her commit to Creighton, and then I never thought I would be here with her. So watching her now has been awesome. My high school coach that I played for actually just moved over to her high school this last year too. So he got to coach her this last season. So knowing she's coming from that and knowing she's coming from great people at Northern Lights and having those connections alone, I think is a really special bond for a freshman to have coming in. I'm excited to see what she can do here. She was really fun to watch this last year in club. And like you said, she can play different positions, but at the same time, she's a setter first. And I think having the experience to play different positions gives her such good perspective on the court.
I'll give Izzy or Coach, what is it? Because I try and explain to people that I can go to one top 10 staff and talk about a setter, and they'll be like, yeah, she number one on our list. And I can walk over 2 courts to another top 10 staff and be like, nah, we have no interest in her. Right? What is it about recruiting setters or interest in setters that make it so different? And talk about that, because with Raina, it was kind of like that. It was polarizing in a little bit. And one, is she gonna go somewhere 6'2" or play? What position is she gonna play? Where's she gonna be at? What kind of setter is she? As that's my job, to go snoop around, right, and get 100 different opinions. And that's what was so interesting for me, is trying to juggle all the information I was hearing and talking with people like you that are like, oh my goodness, she's one of the top couple in the entire class, and some like, no, we have zero interest at all. So talk about that when you're recruiting not only Raina, but just setters in general.
Izzy, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can.
This is setter. Come on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is like what a team needs from the person that's supposed to be the most consistently them on the court. So Raina has shown how, I mean, I wasn't a part of her recruiting, but I fully believe that she's the best setter in that class. So she is just so calm and steady. And I think that that's something that I saw, especially at camp this last year, and getting to watch her more playing club this last year and watching her in high school, just how steady she is and how calm she is as a leader, and hearing the feedback from our players after camp of just like, she's somebody that you want to play with. You want to be on her side. You want her to be your setter. And it might not be the most vocal. She might not look like she's doing the most, but I love that out of a setter, of just calm, simple, leading the court, running the plays, not in a stressful manner. And that's what we need as a setter, or for a setter here, where I think some programs might want a lot more feisty, or some programs might want to have that 6'2" setter focus on defense, get two bigs in the front row. It has to be the right things lining up. But I think for our program and what we're all about, she is the perfect fit to come in and hopefully grow as a freshman right away and be able to contribute.
What she said.
Absolutely, that works for me. Now I want to move on and talk about somebody who has been one of my coolest stories. B, it means I'm getting old as dirt because I can't believe this has been 4 years ago now. But Bailey Boovy, and seeing her absolutely tear up the gym at USD team camp when she was an 8th grader. And I don't do a ton of these, but I am batting about 900% when I do walk through a gym and be like, whoa, that one, she's really good. So I remember walking through, and then they're like, yeah, she's an 8th grader. And it was her playing Gabby Zachariason, who is going to USD. And so I did pretty well picking those two out of the gym. But Bailey, talk about her. Now, she had the knee injury,
Yep.
But I did see she had like 152 kills in the state tournament. So
Yeah.
Looks like that's okay. But talk about her rehab, and just talk about her playing a small town club, being from literally Hoosiers in Iowa, and what she can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with who she is as just a human. She literally is the best as far as what she's going to bring to our culture, how she is as a teammate. And we knew it already, but we learned so much more even through this injury that she had. She didn't miss a single practice, single match for any sport that she did. And she plays 3 sports at her high school. Her basketball team won the state championship, and her team had her like go put the name on the board, her go get the trophy as a leader of that team, and then literally sat on the sideline of track practices just to like support her team. That's kind of who she is. I got to watch an interview that she did kind of through the rehab process, and just her even talking about perspective. I actually shared that video with our team of just kind of how to overcome obstacles. So she's already impacting our team before she even got here. And there were some potential concerns of how does she come back from this. I think she showed the world those answers through the last 3 matches. She led her team to the state championship match. I think it was 96 kills in 3 matches. That's pretty good. And this is her first year ever playing outside full time. She's always had to play middle for high school and club, which she actually is a really good middle too. But we want her to play 6 rotation outside, and luckily she's always played 6 rotations even as a middle. She's a phenomenal passer and back row player. Kind of can just do it all. And I don't even think she's come close to touching how good she could be as she continues to train at our level. we think she could take off. But again, the culture, the leader, who she is as a person, you just can't teach. I thanked her parents on their visit a few weeks ago for just what they've raised and how they've raised her, and we could not be more excited about who we're getting.
Do you want to jump in? And
No, I mean, she's incredible. She was the first person I met when I got here, not even, or including the team. We went and got a meal with her, and I was just so excited to meet everybody else with the expectations I had after that meal. She's an incredible person first, and she's working so hard. And like you said, her ceiling is so high, but she's like willing to put in the work to go get it. This is just a class of athletes and a class of great people, and I'm so excited to get them here.
Yeah. Well, and she, like you talk about the community at Creighton with her fit, and I didn't realize one thing I've learned doing this now for 2.5 years, talent, great, skill level, great, offense, defense, blah, 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 blah. Fit is so important, right? And her fitting with what you guys do in the Creighton community is perfect. She is not a big city, right? And especially coming back from this is even more perfect. That's what's going to help her. Certain athletes need to go to certain places, and that's what's perfect for her. She will excel. So yeah, you guys are getting a good one. So everybody out there, you'll learn to pronounce her name the first year when she's all Big East. The announcers in that probably Sweet 16 round, they'll mispronounce it on ESPN.
It's just a movie with a B. All right, that's how she told it to me.
Huh?
Movie with a B. That's how she told me.
I don't always say boo, boo. So, yep. But they'll get it. By her senior year, she's all American. You heard it here. That's my pick. To click. All right, so let's go through. But the talk about the middle local, and that's when I was like, okay, this is because you guys have made, and when Coach Booth built in the program, you guys have made a killing, a living, a program with recruits like this.
Yeah, Campbell, I really think is the most under the radar, maybe player in this class, but definitely middle in this class. She's kind of had to play for a bunch of different clubs because where she's from in Iowa, she has to drive like 3 hours to whatever club she's gone to. She was actually at Adrenaline 1 year, and then she was at Sting United 1 year. I think she's playing with Six Pack this year. So I think because of that, she's kind of flown around. Like, she gets off the floor just so easy, so athletic off 1 and 2 feet. They would pull her back to pass if passers were struggling on her team last year. She plays beach and went to nationals for her team. As a middle, again, that's pretty impressive to do. She's someone who we really think could fight for time really early for us. And the random small world thing is that her mom played for Coach Booth at her school before Creighton, and it was and Booth didn't even know that when we started talking to her until like the second conversation. So it's just a complete random small world kind of moment. But we could not be more excited about her. And she, again, another just fits the culture perfectly. It's never about her. It's always about everybody else. She'll get like 25 kills and just be like, like, as she kind of comes off the court. She was her like area player of the year again. And she plays in like the biggest league of Iowa. But I think her team kind of flies under the radar because they're just okay.
Yeah, I feel like you just don't see this well-rounded of middles, especially out of high school. Like, you can convert somebody into a middle from another position, but she is just a well-rounded player. Like, she could hit at the pin. She could go back and pass. I was laughing at nationals when I got to watch her play, and they pass a couple balls bad, and they pull her back and like drop a libero out. And I was like, she's just so unbelievably athletic. And yeah, I'm excited to watch her grow. I think when she gets in the gym and gets to train at such a high level, her ceiling is extremely high as well. Just getting her in, getting her training, getting her around people that fit her athleticism and her drive is going to be super fun to watch.
What with the class, the exposure, was there anything different? I guess, volleyball's different where this class has been, basically put to bed for a year. Uh, but has it been, we talked in the summer, has it been any different with, the more national exposure and the run? Have you guys noticed anything from recruits or talking with prospects?
I think the exposure really helped us in the 27 class. Kind of just like broaden the areas that we hit. Again, you see in the 26 class, like very Midwest heavy. I mean, even the 27 class is 2 Midwest kids, but then we have an incredible person coming from outside of the Midwest. I'm not really allowed to say much, so I'll just say that, like that maybe we don't generally reach if we don't beat Texas on national TV to go to an Elite Eight. And as people are reaching out to us now, like we're getting more and more emails from kids from Texas, kids from California, kids from the East Coast that I don't think normally come to us, even though we've been a consistent top 10 program, top 15 program year in and year out. We've still kind of just flown under the radar from the kids outside of the Midwest that are now reaching out to us. But Izzy's just gonna say it's all her. So we'll give Izzy all the credit.
I'll take it.
That's all those Creighton bucks that you guys saved up so you could pay Izzy, Izzy. So they did. But well, Coach, we'll let you guys go. When do you guys start with postseason and that exposure? How much do you guys have left of the regular season, and when does Big East postseason start for you?
Yeah, so we got one more week of the regular season. We head to New York this weekend. Hopefully want to get 2 wins so that we can be the outright Big East champion for the I don't even know 13th year in a row or something like that. But this is the best the Big East has been in a long time. 5th best league in the country. As of right now, 4 teams from the Big East will make the NCAA tournament. And Xavier is 1 game behind us. We're undefeated. They have 1 loss, so we can't afford to drop 1 right now, which is awesome that we're in this situation that every match counts and we really need to stay clean. And then next weekend the Big East tournament is at Marquette, so 4 teams make that, and then there'll be a weekend off for Thanksgiving and then the NCAA tournament. But I do want to we have 1 more commit in this 26 class, Peyton Carlson, and man, we could not be more excited about her too. I think she is by far the most competitive kid in this class. I think, man, like she is a firecracker. Plays outside for high school. She had 54 kills to get her team in 1 match to get her team to their first ever state tournament. Which just shows who she is as a competitor. She is probably 6 foot, so we love her length as a libero, her range, those kinds of things. And she was actually coached by Sage Damro's dad for the last, I think, 4 years of club at FC Elite. So that's another, even though she was actually committed before Sage was. But just a random connection there. But yeah, so she and Raina will come at semester. We're really excited about that.
I was going to say maybe that was Izzy's contribution.
Sage might have been here before you. No, yeah, Sage is actually already. I had to call Sage. I called Sage to ask her about Izzy actually. So it was the other way around. So I think Sage might have helped us get Izzy. I don't know.
They had.
What has Izzy done? I got to start thinking about this. Jeez.
Why are you here?
Izzy, I have a question for you in regards to recruiting. One of our nerds, they reached out and were asking, with the portal now, what the portal is, and the new team roster caps, how has that affected your recruiting efforts in regards to when you're out recruiting?
Yeah, I think that's something like we're navigating right now, and it's not had experience with in the past, so this is really all I know. In our minds, like if there's spots open and there's talent out there that have proven themselves at the college level, like they've shown here, like transfers can make such a big difference. So being open to that and being open to making those connections after season, but also focusing on our season right now, like that's not going to take over what we have left and all the cool things that we're going to get to do as we get into tournament time here. But it's definitely part of the conversation here. It's something that's going to continue changing and navigating, but checking the portal daily and just keeping our options open here. I think transfers can have a big impact. I also think we have a great freshman class coming in that's going to make a great impact. So not feeling too much pressure there of just
Right.
we're open, and we're also really excited to get our 4 newcomers coming in here this next year.
Yeah, super excited.
But it'll probably be, it's something too that recruits will have to look at and educate themselves on. That, I mean, they, sometimes when you're the realist in this whole thing, you're not the positive one, but there just aren't as many spots, going down the road, and especially at, Power 5, when you're talking Power 5, there just aren't as many spots because people are upgrading with older players. And it's the reality of it that if you get an offer, you're lucky to have that. And that's the reality of things, that, a 20-year-old is sometimes better than, or more equipped than, an 18-year-old. And so when you look at classes, like we're just about to talk about, like the Vanderbilt class, and you look, and if you add 2 very legitimate players who can come in early, that, the days of 6 freshmen coming in are, probably slim anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that just is the reality of it, that's not always a great thing. That with the portal, that doesn't happen very often. So,
Yeah.
A little bit as a player as well. So I feel like having that perspective of like, I played with, I think by the time I left, half of our team had transferred in at some point, and knowing that like a program that's going to continue to grow and get better is always looking for talent that's just a little bit better than you, and that's going to push you to get better yourself. So earning your court time and understanding that as a program we want to win, as a team we want to win, whatever's best for the team, like changing your perspective to that can be difficult, but at the same time it is something that I think that's part of these elite programs, these top programs. That's why we're still getting better and growing.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, and it'll be the education of it all. That, I mean, it's just the education, or the evolution of college sports, and the days of saying you want to go somewhere for 5 years are great, but the probability of that just isn't 90% anymore. That athletes don't do that, and that's college sports. And
Right.
I just was looking at somebody who had 7 recruits, and I'm like, whoa, that's, but you look at a class that has 2 and you're like, but you get 2 that you pick up 2 solid starters who can play right away.
I got one that just walked into my office right now. Anna, you want to say hi? Anna just came in. I think that's where we've had probably the most success is our grad transfers. Honestly, like we've really loved grad transfers as people that can kind of plug in for like specific holes, but have also had great experiences at their universities, graduated, left on good terms, like our culture first people, that kind of thing. And so like between her, Maddie Bilinovich, Elise Getzinger, Jazz Schmidt, like we've had some great culture ads, some that have been like instant starters for us, and some that have just been incredible role players for us. And so yeah, we've had great success with that.
Where did Maddie go again? Is she playing pro?
She's coaching at Davidson now. Actually, she was playing pro in Orlando. The Orlando had over there. So she was with Orlando for a little bit. And then she's actually an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator at Davidson College right now, which is where I came from. So I kind of helped her get on over there.
Nice. Well, she was crazy.
She was, yeah. She was a fun one.
She was a fun one. All right. Well, we will let you guys get back. This is how a 6-hour live show becomes 8.5. Well, that's fun. So you guys, another great year. And it looks like for sure should be first round, right? First 2 rounds.
That's what we plan. You coming? Should I put you on the pass list?
Well, I mean, I had
great
seats
Austin.
last
I don't
year.
understand why you don't come to your favorite city in the country. I mean, Omaha is right down the road.
I know it is. I bought a house. I'm having trouble selling mine. I've been working on some things. I'm working on a
We got
big.
Warren Buffett here. I heard he's great with real estate. So if you need to talk to him,
He sells it, I can come. I'm working on some things. I'm working on a VB adrenaline match, maybe a Creighton versus Kansas, maybe.
I was just talking to him yesterday. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Where could we play that at? You know what we should do?
That'd be a good match.
Here's what we'll do. Let's do it right. Let's do it next year, right before. I got it. Don't cut me out. This is what always happens. I get the idea, and then somebody cooler or with a corporate name comes in and steals it. Let's do it right before conference tournament. Let's do it at CHI Center. Okay. And let's do a volleyball, men's basketball doubleheader. Creighton versus Kansas.
All right. Don't you have Matt Ulmer on later, or do you already have him on?
Well, let's bring him to the show right now. The national anthem singing.
You got to let me go soon. Ulmer, I had nothing to do. Look, he started this, man.
I got the tail end. I just got the tail end.
I just said I was year. Talking, let's call it the VB Adrenaline Classic, and let's have a CHI Health Center, and let's do Kansas Creighton volleyball, followed by Kansas Creighton men's basketball, right before the conference tournament.
Whatever Brian wants, I'm in.
All right, you hear that? I heard that right there. No guarantees or anything. Now this is perfect.
My dad would be so happy. A long time ago, he worked at Creighton University Hospital. I think it was Doug McDermott's first. It was because Dougie Buckets, little Dougie Buckets was there before his NBA career and everything. My dad would be my 79-year-old dad would be so happy if we could pull that out.
All right, Darren. Well, you put it together. We'll see what we can do. I'm gonna let you guys have Matt here. I've seen Matt's class a lot, and they're pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, I'll let you guys talk about them.
That sounds good. You guys take care, and where'd we go, Matt?
There he goes.
All right, Izzy, Brian, take care. Izzy,
thank y'all for coming on.
If I have a recruiting question, you gotta answer my.
Got you.
You're just like, I know you're from Wisconsin now.
I'm not from Wisconsin.
Well, I know you went to Wisconsin now, because 3 texts you didn't respond. I'm like, yep, she went to Wisconsin.
Sorry.
All right, Darren, we're out of here.
We'll see you later, guys. Thank you.
See you guys.
Take care. All right. Coach Ulmer, how are you?
How are you? It's a great day. It's a great day.
It is a great day. And you know what? I woke up and I know the sport is growing because we're getting more like football. There were already schools posting committed edits, cool committed edits. The commits were rolling in. That didn't happen a few years ago. So this day is getting bigger. We're making it a bigger deal. Volleyball's growing. It's awesome.
Yeah, we all got to step our game up. That's right.
Yeah, we really. Yeah, make it bigger and better for the athletes. And I remember the first year I did this, I remember calling to some high schools and saying, hey, when's I don't know, she's probably an All-American or something now, but I was like, hey, when's so-and-so committing? Are you doing any kind of signing? And they're like, no, she's signing her letter in like 2 weeks with the football team. I'm like, well, what? And they're like, oh, we don't have a volleyball thing. We just do it with a football team. And now they're doing their own deal, and they're all having presentations and ceremonies and doing it together. And so we're getting bigger. So it's awesome. But how are you?
That's awesome and well-deserved. I'm great. I'm great. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful day in Lawrence. I got nothing to be upset about here. This is wonderful.
Yeah. Awesome job on your national anthem. You did great.
Oh, thank you. Yes, appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
great.
I have a couple record contracts out there. There's some deals I gotta work through them and see what I want to take. But there's Broadway too. I don't know. I'm not sure yet what I want to do, but there's options.
Well, on all your free days
Yeah.
that you're not recruiting or on the road or camps or, so
There you
all
go.
those free
Throw it in
days,
there.
all those.
So many. With 4 little kids too. Yep.
Right.
Lots of them.
that's good. Well, let's talk about your we're calling it your first class with the Jayhawks. So how do you feel?
Feel great. It's a great group. Just wonderful humans. I think they bring a lot of what we need right now. We need a lot of physicality. We need arms. And just raise the talent level in the gym, athletically and just with pace and size. And so I think we got 5 that absolutely will do that for us. But even above that, just culture kids. I mean, they're wonderful humans. I'm sure you've talked to a few of them, but just great students, wonderful people, genuinely hard workers that want to get better, and they're going to make my job better, easier.
We'll have to start and go through each of them, but I've talked quite a bit, probably in the last year. I have to kind of move on with 27s as that being the next up and coming class, with being their year. We kind of let 26s go a little bit, but I talked a lot about Taylor Stanley, about Stanley and just being one when she got healthy, but just the explosion that she had with her numbers, her game obviously as well, but her athletic numbers, once her body just kind of healed up from what she kind of talked about being a disappointing recruiting year. Everything worked out great. She, got her hometown school and home state school, and she was obviously happy, but I just don't think, talking with her, she ever felt great, and her play wasn't what I think she wanted. And boy, the year she has had, and at least in my book, she climbed up to the number 1 opposite in the class, and athletically is the most athletic opposite in the class. So you got to feel excited. A, she's a home state kid. B, you held on to her, and C, just the athlete she's turned into.
I think it's a theme with all 5 of the signees. I think all of them are late bloomers. I think all of them, their best days are well ahead of them. It's going to be a matter of when, not if, for each of them. And I think with Taylor, you're seeing it a little bit earlier than some. Again, yeah, she had the injury, but also just growing into her body, figuring out her game more, figuring out the skill set and the swing she's going to need, moving to the opposite, and really committing her time there. But I mean, just from sophomore year to junior year, how much bigger her block got, how much more physical she got. And then you could just see the confidence grow in her game more and more. And I think her experience with USA also, helped that. One, making a really tough roster, and then 2, finding success when she got her moments in there. I think, all those things are really a positive for her. But I mean, I don't know what you don't like about her. I really think there's everything that you would want in an opposite. She can absolutely bring that. She can also score from the left. She can score from the back row. I mean, she's going to be a 6 rotation point scorer. And we know the names of the people that can do that at a high level. And I think that's what she can bring.
Yeah. What do you feel about the location? Because it seems like you done a good job in the Midwest. And one thing you and I talked about when you took the job was how many places you can get to by car from Kansas City, but the regionality of the class, you have to like that.
Well, I mean, I think if you just stayed in the Kansas City area alone, your roster could be full of top recruits.
Yeah.
Right now. So if you can just keep your home base, which that's going to be tough because everybody's going to be, fishing out of that pond. But again, if you love growing up here in the Midwest, like I don't know why you wouldn't want to come to Kansas. I don't know why you wouldn't come to Lawrence. I think it's got everything you're going to be looking for. And that we're going to keep pushing that, and hopefully everyone will see that. Again, Taylor, definitely represents, the best player in the area, and she's choosing to be at her home school, and she wants to be a Jayhawk. And again, hopefully people want to follow that. Having said that, I mean, we have national reach. I mean, we have international reach right now. I mean, I think we can go anywhere to make the roster better. I definitely have confidence in going into any region or country, to bring someone home up against any school. Again, I just think it's just a really well-rounded experience that you're going to have when you come to Lawrence. And but again, if we can start with keeping the homegrown talent here, that wants to be here, then I think that's a great start.
What do you think? Was it hard at all year one with the class or with the transition? Was there, sometimes we talked about other classes disbanding. Was there any challenges, or did this class stay together? Was it more work? What was it like year one with you making the move from Oregon?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me leaving Oregon was leaving the people, right? I mean, whether it's, friends that we have there, but a lot of it was just our players. One, our current team. Two, the players that had committed to us at Oregon. And again, it was a great class and a great team, but just who they are as people, the relationships that we had. So, how do you handle that? Moving spots. I don't know if everybody's going to want to come with me. Again, they didn't commit to going to Kansas. Some of them may be committed to our staff, but not necessarily the staff at Kansas. And then when I met the group of Ryan and Jaylee and Taylor that were committed to Kansas, they loved the school. They love Coach Bouchard. They loved everything that was going on. But they love being Jayhawks. That's really what they wanted to be. And so I think once they figure out that I'm not too crazy, then I think they were excited, to be in. I think there was probably nervousness from them just making sure that I was excited about them, which I absolutely am. And so the three of them, stayed very firmly committed. I don't even think they looked to talk to anybody else. I think they were pretty bought in. And then Avery and Tessa, who were committed to us at Oregon. Tessa actually her other top choice was Kansas. So that worked out. So she had been on campus. She had seen that. And so it was kind of like her perfect world that Kansas is where she wanted to be. But, the staff that we had, so just a little bit of a combo there that worked out. And then with Avery opened up her recruitment again, which I think was smart. Again, there's no reason that she had never visited Kansas before in her recruitment, to Oregon. So she needed to see what that was about and if it's where she wanted to be. And at the end of the day, she chose to come to Kansas as well. So again, really happy about how it all went out. I feel like, Tessa and Avery didn't feel like they had to come to Kansas just because I was here. I feel like they chose to come to Kansas. And I thought the three that really love to be here are really excited to continue with that commitment.
Awesome. And I wanted to talk about, because I think maybe on a, national level, not national level, Tessa Don, I really liked her when I got to see her at some of the USA training. Just someone who kind of blends in, but I've talked about athletes like that when you're at a program that's trying to take a next step, which Kansas has been extremely successful and is right there, but maybe trying to take a next step. I think athletes like Tessa that just do so many things fundamentally well are those athletes that you want in your program. And I was always so impressed with how consistent she was when I watched her on the court, and maybe not the most flashy player always, but just so consistent. And I love the commit when she committed to you guys, and then when she came with, with the move. I just loved her as a player because of that. And I just love kids like that, or young athletes like that in your program, because they seem like they're great culture kids. And she's just going to be at such a high consistency level for
I mean,
you.
she just had 39 kills in her last match. That's not bad. And playing in a, maybe, I mean, one of the things that she gives is she can play any of the front row positions. That's huge, for a coach to have at their disposal, someone that can move around. Her block, I don't know how many people have a bigger block in this class than she does. It's massive.
Really?
Huge block. I mean, armpit block. It's massive and strong. Again, I think for her, it's actually, to me, I look at the fundamentals, and that's where she's going to grow the most. Athletically, super gifted. I mean, 10-5 plus, big arm, strong. I mean, her shoulders don't move on the block, and she just played 6 rotations, all of club and high school on the left, which I'm not even sure is her best position. So someone who really loves the technical piece like I do, if she can embrace the craziness that I'm going to bring to her world, then I think her upside is, it's really massive.
So here's just the outlet. She has a ton of room to grow.
Massive amounts of room to grow. Yes. I only had her at camp for like a day this past summer, and I couldn't wait, like I said, just annoy her every day in practice with information.
What about just following her from Ryan Sadler? Seems like just an upbeat, like goofball. When she took her pictures on her visit, just when she committed, is that what you're getting with her?
I mean, what I try to recruit is a combination of just stone cold competitor, but someone that can laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you want that. I mean, if we're just serious all the time, you're going to go crazy, by the end. And you can't just be silly all the time too, because when the big moments come, you want to know you're ready. And I think Ryan has that combination. Again, when she's out there, she's trying to tear someone's face off, sometimes too aggressively. But then, like you said, can be a real goofball, and I mean that in a positive way. Just makes things light and makes people have a lot of joy when you're around her. So I really like what she can do. And similar to Tessa, I mean, her skill set is okay right now, but she's as fast twitch as they come. She's very springy, has a very live arm. Her block is impressive. I mean, there's a lot of things to like there. And defensively, she can move with a lot of strength down low quickly. Again, I think it's just a matter of time and reps. But she's excited to do it. She's bought in and wants to be great.
Yeah, she'll be on this evening, so I'm excited. Okay. To me, she reminded me, because I've talked with her once. She almost reminded me a little bit of Becca Alec with the Huskers.
Yeah, as a human.
Yes.
Yeah, the way she speaks, definitely, and that's a great compliment, because Becca's as good as they come.
Good. Well, I hope she lives up to that, because that's because I watched her play, and she had that intensity when she played, but that goofball side too of, I don't really care what people think, and I'm just me. But she also brings it on the court, and that intensity, but also made her teammates, was kind of the one that loosened everybody else up. And you need those people on your team as well. Tell me about Avery, because everybody that I followed the last 2 years from Club V, I have absolutely loved. And I don't know why, but I just have. But I don't know much about Avery. So tell me about Avery a little bit.
You'll find out. I mean, she's 10.7.5, I think is the highest she's touched. But with strength up there. Her mom is a strength coach, but she strength coach in college. I know she worked with Hambly, so I know there's that relationship there. But high level experience there, and she works with the club, and she works with Avery, and I mean Avery is a monster. Up at the net, I mean she hits angles that you don't see very often. I mean, she can get into that sharp angle pretty easily with pace. She stays over the block. I mean, it's just she's an out of system scorer, and if you want to win at the end, you got to have those. And she's someone that can do that. She doesn't need a perfect pass, perfect set to put the ball away. I think where she'll grow is more in the ball control piece and shot selection and adding all that to her game. But again, she brings things that you have to have if you're talking about taking the next step. For us, we're in that Sweet 16 mix right now. That's kind of where Kansas has been. The Final Four run in 2015, happened, but I think to be consistently in that Final Four mix, we have to get more physical up at the net. You have to be able to score out a system. You just have to be able to out offense people. Again, Avery is definitely somebody that can do that. Again, as high as the level as I'm trying to think of the other lefts, like she's as gifted athletically, and with an arm as anybody.
Yeah. What has it been? I've asked this, will January, and you come in January, end of the year, what's the mix?
We have 3 that are going to come early as of now, and then 2 more that'll come in summer.
Okay. Yeah.
With the roster limits, it's hard to bring a big class all in.
Yeah.
With that kind of change.
Go ahead.
And with this, this big class, you got 5 recruits coming in. How do you see them, transitioning into this great roster you already have?
Well, I think, we lose a lot. We needed more depth. We needed more hitters. So, again, I think it's the right fit. I think it's the right mix for what we have. We have a lot of ball control. We have a lot of skill position right now on the roster. Again, Logan Bell is a freshman, is someone that can do it all. Grace Nelson's doing great as a sophomore, right? We have some of those pieces. So I think it's more about, again, we just really need people that can go up and put the fear of God in you a little bit, with their arm. And we're bringing a lot of that. Jaylee, we haven't even talked about, really nice middle blocker. Again, I don't know how many people have seen her, just based upon where she lives. Same idea with Tessa. There's not in big markets where you see them a lot, but Jaylee can really block. She's very talented, side to side. Wide shoulder, strong, has a nice arm, likes to run the slide, physical. There's a lot of pieces here, that can do a lot of things. And so, again, we really desperately need that. We've been able to get by this year the way we have, it's just like I hired late. And so the transfer portal was closed, and, people that were already committed. So this is a big group, and it needs to be a big group of physicality and athleticism that goes along well with the culture that we want. So I feel like we nailed with what we needed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I see them fitting right in. Just plug and play. With
come on in.
Transition.
Yeah.
So come on in.
Yeah.
So I have a question from a volley nerd, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
He was wondering, has there been a stark difference in your recruiting efforts from going from one great program, Oregon, to another great program like Kansas?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew, for the question. I would just say more doors are open. One of the hardest thing maybe at Oregon was just trying to get people to get to Oregon. Right, it was just far.
Mm-hmm.
It's just on one side of the country, so that's going to be good for some people. It's going to turn some other people off. And with Kansas, you're about as centrally located as it comes. I think we probably have the best travel of a Power 4 team. Where we are. It's easy for us to get everywhere. You're not going more than one time zone ever. Any parent, family member can take a nonstop flight, pretty much. To KC.
Right.
It's easy to get to, and like you said, most can drive. So I just think, as far as life goes, it opens up a lot of doors for us. So even just in the couple of recruiting classes that we've had, we've been able to get people from all over. And I think that's probably the biggest difference, where we were pretty west of Texas dominant at Oregon.
Right.
Now we can kind of get wherever we need to go. And again, that just opens up a lot of doors and opportunities that we didn't have.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, bud, Coach, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time and great class. We'll, I know what you've really been waiting for. You want to see where your final ranking is in the VB Adrenaline Top 25. So I'm gonna.
That is what keeps me up at night. You know that.
Well, and a lot of people, it is one of the most respected rankings, because you know how much I care about rankings, and so I did them. So I'm gonna let you go, because I don't want to see the disappointment or joy on your face when I reveal them here. But
hey, I just appreciate what you do for the sport, and thanks for taking the time to do it and to cover it. I think that's what's most important.
Yeah, no, hey, it's I'm excited. I love the signing day, and like I said, with the football one, it was a sick day. It was a sick day for 12 straight years. So this is fun to do this, and every year we do a little bit more, and it's cool to see. Like I said, when I woke up this morning and all these schools were shooting out committed, and that wasn't happening 2 years ago. And
that's right.
and it's a lot of fun to have my friend joining me, and
I love it.
And my nephew Zach is he's finishing up his master's to be he wants to be an SID because he started doing this, and he's going to hop on and
Great.
a little bit, and so yeah, it's a family affair, and we love doing it. So and as always, man, you're as gracious with your time as anybody, and so I appreciate it. Good luck in December Madness, and I hope I don't get to talk to you at all in Kansas City. So do your best, and we'll chat with you soon. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks a
You
lot.
too.
Take care, Coach. Matt Elmer, first year at Kansas, and I'll tell you, that's my program. I think is on the rise, and
the trajectory is just only up, and like he said it best. Kansas is so centrally like located. I was thinking that's kind of where he was going to go with his comment in regards to his recruiting efforts, because I mean, it's just easy to go to. Why not?
Yeah, and part of the thing was that was just part of the deal with him going there, was Kansas is all in with them, and he knows what he's doing. They built a winner out in Oregon, and he's a class act. So he, as you can tell, they wanted Oregon, and they're going to do it. I think the Big 12 is a great situation for them, and they're beefing up their non-conference schedule, and going to do it. So we will let's take a minute here, and we're going to interview Emma, and then we'll start talking some of our rankings and breakdowns and finish up with some of our talk here. But let's talk with Emma here. So I think we can click back over. Emma, how are you?
Great. How are you, Darren?
I am awesome. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Such a good day.
You're all grown up. We're done with you. You're yesterday's news. You're a college kid.
That's true. That's true.
So did you sign this morning, or when's your official program?
Yeah, so I electronically signed this morning at about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm having my signing celebration at 5:00 this afternoon. So yeah.
Okay, nice. So let's talk about we've told the story, but you had someday you'll start a podcast and you'll tell everybody. Well, no, Emma has been through it. Emma knows Emma learned a lot about college recruiting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, you take your pulse. She's alive, but she found a home, and so you're officially Demon Deacon and heading to the ACC. So how was it? Are you heading there in January or end of the school year?
I will be heading there in January. So, yep, I will be going early as long as everything goes right. But it's on track right now. So.
Yeah. So what have you learned about the program? Just kind of watching, I know new staff, a lot of change this fall, but just watching the growth this fall. What have you learned?
Yeah, I mean, we have some awesome seniors in some leadership positions this year that are really kind of taking the team up a notch in the ACC. But I think we also have a really strong underclassmen that are just, in my eyes, I see them being the future of the program, and I see myself following in their footsteps. So I am very excited to get there and to work and to make some waves next season.
Yeah. What with talking with Coach throughout the fall, what have you learned? What are you excited about? Because I know you had the opportunity. Just go through for people who maybe didn't listen to the podcast when you and I did it. When you had a scholarship, the previous coaching staff got let go. New coach came in, and you didn't know if you were going to be kept, and then coach wanted to keep you. But kind of go from there. Coach kept you, but go through that process.
Yeah, so part of our class was kept, and part of our class just decided to not stay in the Wake Forest direction. And from there, it was kind of just finish your club season, and he was really swamped trying to get a staff together and try and keep recruiting and get a good 27 class. And so we just kind of went through our club seasons and then got at camp and kind of really met everyone on the staff for the first time and kind of got to ask the team, like, hey, like, how's it going? How do you like him and everything? And everything I heard was positive, and I felt really welcomed and had a great time meeting the new coaches, and we had an awesome camp. And so we were all, my class, the three of us at the time, were pretty confident and like looking forward to the future. And then we had one more get added in the summer, like early fall time, Ava. And so now we're class of 4, but I mean, we're all pretty like confident in the new coaches, and I personally love the staff. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about all of them. And it sounds like the team really loves him too. And personally, for me, I'm really excited to be coached under Jeff and a few of the coaches, just because I really like the winning mentality he brings to the table, and he is very eager to win quickly. And I don't know, he's just not like a complacent kind of guy, and he really likes competitive players, which I definitely am. So I am really, really excited to just grow my game and grow the Wake Forest program under him and the staff. And I hope that, you know, he sticks around for a while.
And Emma, what was that moment for you when you were like, Wake Forest, this is it? Like, what was that moment that made you just be like, this is it?
I mean, my first moment was like at camp a couple years ago with the first staff and everyone. I was like, oh yeah, like I totally see myself here. Like, this is where I want to be. And then the second moment, I think really I knew when the coaching staff got let go and the new coach, Jeff, like our first call, I realized like how much I wanted it to work out and how much I really, really, really wanted him to keep me. And I think that was kind of huge for me, because I didn't realize, I guess, how much like I had loved the school and loved the team so much. Like, you know, you think you know, but then when it's like in danger of being taken away, like you really understand like how much there is to lose. And I was like, I just like, I don't want to lose this experience opportunity. Like, this is what I want. Like, I'll do anything. And I was just so, so, so thankful when it all worked out. So I think that was definitely the second moment. I think that was like definitely the biggest one, just because I really understood how much like I was really and am still looking forward to my years there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the process, what going in January and starting to train, and have you learned about the college game and what you're going to need to work on and starting to train? Because I know my talks with you earlier, you're a preparation, you're a planner, I know you haven't just sat back and waited. What have you already started to work on?
Actually today, since like I've officially like signed and everything, I'm registering for classes tomorrow, so I'm getting all of my academics like set as soon as possible. And I'm already in touch with the strength coach, because I mean, now that I'm officially signed, like he can officially reach out, and I want to get started on a program and start training like physically as soon as I can, because it's, I mean, anything to make the jump easier. I think it's going to be interesting to go from a high school season to a college setting, just because I know like in years past, like girls, and I mean, I honestly, up until July, was in the mindset of, okay, like I have a club season, I have that rigor and those hard tournaments and like high competition before I go to college. So I think I'm really going to have to try really, really hard to be great and get a lot of practice in as much as I can. In any time that I can, especially because, you know, spring season, all the hours are limited and everything. And it's just a lot of physical training. So I'm going to try and get in the gym as much as I can. prepare physically as much as I can before and just get everything set. Academics, housing, like dining, like I want everything set as soon as possible so I could just, in a way, start thinking about like my goodbyes, and then I can start thinking about the game. Because I mean, I am going to college to play volleyball. I'm not using volleyball necessarily just to go to college. Like for me, I want to start thinking about the game and the competition. And I mean, in my head, like I watch the ACC games and I'm like, all right, like I'm playing her next fall. Like, all right, time to start watching, you know? So I kind of honestly like, I haven't like, I've taken some mental notes, you know, like I'm really ready to start like getting into the college game. So I guess in a way I'm really, really eager about that. And that might be like a little bit later in the spring and preseason and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just trying to get as ready as I can before I go in every way.
And like, what do you think has prepared you the most and propelled you the most for this moment? It's a huge moment for you. So what do you think, you know?
Ooh, I mean, obviously like the years of like hard work and training and all the hours, but honestly, like in a weird way, I do think my parents have kind of prepared me for this moment just in the way that they raised me. And I mean, they've always said, you know, like once you work hard and you earn it, like stay humble in the moment. And I will be, and I try to be. But I also think like it's really cool for us to like have a day and it like is official and it means a lot. And I think they've just kind of been like, hey, like, I mean, my mom's already getting sad, you know, because January's coming up soon, but she's like, everyone around me has been so supportive and saying, you know, you're going to go do great things. Like, we're always here to support you. And it's just, I don't know, like I've seen how they act in moments of success, and I've seen previous athletes like on their signing day act like humble. And I just want to be very thankful to all of my supporters and all of my coaches in the past, because we all know that you do not get to the Division I level without great parents and a lot of hours put in. So that's kind of all.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, just remember what we talked about before. Like it's different and it's going to be a grind, and this is recruiting's that sprinkles on the ice cream cone, and the college it's a business. And when you get there's going to be, it's different, right? And it's a job, and you know, it's like, I love VB adrenaline, but there's days that people, you know, say things and I don't love VB adrenaline, right? And you get through it, and it's going to be different now, like club and going to all the qualifiers and putting little bows in your hair, and you know, like I'm not buying, you know, treats and buying the cool sweatshirt. It's different, and you'll learn that, and that's okay. And what you're learning now is you're getting your college paid for and whatever your deal is, and you adjust because you're going to become a different person. And you're going there you're going to be playing with, you know, 22-year-old young women, and someday you'll be that. And it's that adjustment, those first few months of being where you are right now with this euphoric, oh my goodness. And then they're like 21 and sore and beat up and like, right? And you get there, and you know, that's the whole transition of going from where you guys are at right now. And you should celebrate. You're a one percenter, no matter where you're going. You're a one percenter. Like I tell y'all, I'm jealous as all. I never got invited to any kind of select anything, you know, at any level. So I'm envious, but it's work now. You know, and this is celebrated, and you're getting paid scholarship, whatever it is, because you have a job. And that sounds really harsh, but it is. And it's up early and lifting, and the stuff's not optional anymore, right? Like and that's okay, because they sort you out, and people like you who want to be great survive that, and they don't put that on the colorful recruiting pamphlet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you figure it out, and that's okay. And you're going to get there, but it's just not every day is, the sprinkles on the ice cream cone anymore. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And-
yeah. But
and
you also
sorry.
get cool things like big, huge Nike, packages and extra pairs of shoes that I have to go buy online. So, not that always makes up for the hundreds of hours of practice and reps and weight room, and right. But if you're an eternal optimist, you get cool shoes, right? And you do have the coolest colors. You have the coolest scheme in college.
Cool colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They are nice.
Yeah. Emma, quick question. So you've gone through the whole process now. You're about to enroll January. With you seeing the whole thing, what do you have, or what bit of advice do you have for those girls that are watching this, that hope to be in your shoes one day? What do you think is the most important part of the recruiting process from your experience?
Yes. I think being really tenacious in advocating for yourself and showcasing your value to a program. I think it's really easy, especially like going through the recruiting process. It's easy to compare yourself to girls in your class and think like, oh my gosh, like she does this better than me, XYZ. But I think if you can advocate yourself, your game, what you bring to the table, and you can show that you value yourself and you respect your own value, and you won't be taken for granted on a court, I think it's something a lot of coaches like to see in their players, is that you have confidence and you demand respect in the game, and you want to keep working and earn more respect. And it's just hard because there's so many girls that play volleyball, and it's really, really easy to like get down, lose confidence, or be like, oh my gosh, like she's going to all these camps, XYZ. But everyone goes through a different process. And I think just emailing all the time, putting yourself out there, be ready for the hard to come, because it's not always easy. It's not like a walk in the park, and it shouldn't be. So yeah, I guess that's my biggest thing, is don't be afraid to put yourself out there and like sell yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. So yeah, that's my biggest advice.
Awesome.
Yep. And you survive, don't you, when you learn tech lessons?
Yeah. Just keep going. It's simple. Yeah.
All right, you are always welcome to keep updating us, and we are pumped. You have done an awesome job, and you just key to college. You just keep showing up, and eventually things will work out. The key. So good luck, and I'm excited to watch what they build there. So I've heard good things, and hopefully things turn around, and best of luck to you. So
thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for sharing your story. And best of luck. Enjoy that. And March Madness, I know we can't talk basketball, but it is a cool place to be in March. That little 20-mile stretch there. So enjoy it.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Take care.
Thank
Emma
you.
Teaching, everybody.
Have a good day.
Wait for us. So see you, Emma.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. She's on her way to Wake. Now we will take off. And so I can't get these to upload without it slowing everything down. So we'll just talk about a few things till our next guest comes. So let's just go through a few things on her notes, and you have some things. So first thing I want to talk about, and I'll go through, and I'm just going to go through and talk about going back over some of the stories. And I just want to go through, I put down 10 of the top recruiting W's, or the recruiting wins. So some of the schools that I thought had some of the biggest signs during during the class.
It's been 2 hours. It's okay.
Yeah. And then we'll go back and I can kind of give you the backstory and talk about a little bit. But number one, and Nadia's coming on tonight, but Baylor signing Nadia Johnson opposite from Metro. And we have Nadia as the number one, or excuse me, the number two. She ended up as the number two opposite. At the time, she was number one and finished behind Stanley, but tried out the national team, and out of Metro, jumps, touched 10.6, maybe 10.6.5 up there. And her committing to Baylor early was huge news. And so I had that as the biggest win of the class. Baylor signing her, I had as one of the biggest wins in my book. I remember being as the biggest, oh my goodness moment.
Yes, I do remember it being so early, and I was like, wow, that's pretty early.
Yeah. And she also, I remember talking with her because she didn't go to any select camps. She had gone to Baylor's, and then Metro does a really good job because a lot of kids in their area just can't afford to do all the travel. And so it was really hush hush about who her favorites were. And all of a sudden, boom, she pulls out Baylor because she was highly sought after. And so I remember that was huge to me. Do you remember? I have a couple on list. You're more than welcome to steal any, but do you remember thinking? Seems like forever ago, but do you remember one that you were just like, whoa, or a smaller one? And feel free.
I would again the Nadia Johnson. That was that was really early. I think it'll be huge for Baylor. I went and saw them a few times this season, and I see her starting right out the bat. That's just, I mean, she's gonna go in and shake up that program for sure. But definitely, who else is over here? Again, the number one recruit, Henley Anderson. Her arm is just insane. That her arm is insane. Her scope is huge.
Yeah. And that was, I mean, I think of any, I remember a top 5 coach saying, making the quote of, I don't remember any less fanfare or attention being paid to a number one prospect than Henley Anderson, because it was just assumed she was going to Texas. Like, there was no, Nebraska did their diligence, but she was just going to Texas.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a foregone conclusion. Now, there was I love the story behind Nebraska putting their shot in. And that's why I do all this. I love the stories behind the stories. They don't get quite as dirty as football, but I do love the shot.
Right.
Which Cook and staff took. It didn't work,
right.
But they, but no, there was no. She was just Texas, 99%. But yeah, that she fits that mold now of Vanderwall, and
yeah, but and then that's the thing is what we're talking about, these roster caps and all the portal and stuff. It's just one of those things is, where do you put these top athletes. I mean,
Hey.
like, you know what I mean? Like the Nebraskas, the Penn States, the Wisconsin, you know, I mean, look at the top 10. You look at their roster and it's all these top 10 recruits, you know what I mean? But that's what's going to make with these caps. That's what I wanted to talk to Coach Omar earlier about it was, you know, it's going to spread the wealth. I personally feel, you know, eventually, but I slowly will get there. But it's just where you put in all these athletes and where are they going to fall on the, you know, the roster.
Yeah. And if it comes down to, you know, and that's, I'm lucky enough. There's programs that talk with me more than others, and I enjoy it. Like there's haves and have-nots, and everybody talks about parity. You know, you bringing up parity, but I actually disagree with that. Where I think the gap is becoming wider, because I think the haves are doing a much better job of managing what they have, and the have-nots are just, in my opinion, falling farther behind. And like, for example, I talked about, I think both, somebody who, again, I don't read your guys' stuff. I don't read the other board for a reason. I've been public about this. I have very bad anxiety, and I don't like hearing my name. I don't like hearing how big of an idiot I am. I don't read that stuff. I can't believe I didn't shut the comments off on here. But so I don't read that stuff. But every once in a while, there's a few people who I trust to send me comments. And I respect enough to have educated conversations with.
Right.
And they will ask me recruiting questions, which is why I got into this, to have educated recruiting questions, not volleyball X and O questions. And they were really upset because who Texas took in the 27 class, like, she's not ranked, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're right. They have a plan in place,
right?
A budget plan. So does Nebraska, right? You need to look at the class ahead of them, below them, right? Like the outsides for 28. What do the outsides in 29 look like? Right. And that all factors in. And what are you going to have to pay? And there were teams literally acting as if they were going to recruit somebody when they had no intention of wanting to sign them. Right or wrong, that's the game. Why were they doing that?
Correct.
To get somebody else to bid up to what? Waste their cap space.
Right.
Now, the gamesmanship of that is genius. What that does to a high school recruit, not genius, but this is a business.
It is.
Right. And when we started out, what I started out to do was educate the other side, but that wasn't perceived very well by the powers that be. So we stopped doing that. Right. And so it's there's the game within the game of that. And coaches aren't going to tell you, hey, this is our cap number. They're not, and it's not uniform.
Right.
Right. And how they have how their cap is it in scholarship numbers? Is it in just straight cash? Is it everybody's is different and disguised different? And but yeah, it is different. And from a pure entertainment standpoint, it definitely makes it interesting. But like, so the bigger programs are just looking at strategies, and there's a big divide, I think. But yes,
definitely.
it should weed that out, because you would think somebody would say, why am I going there when they already have boom, boom, and boom?
Right.
But you and I talked about a certain program just yesterday where they have two of the exact same position, and the class right in front of them has the exact same position.
Right. That's just where, yeah. And that's the thing too, is like I see a lot in like the nerds, like private Facebook group for the other fellow nerds, not just the Facebook page. And there's a lot of always like controversy of the transfer portal, and why is this person doing this, and why is this person doing that, or why is this team taking this, and why are they not? And I love the insight you did bring, that there's more to it. Like you said, what's that class doing before and what's that class doing after, and the trickle effect, because they are paying. It is a business. That's the reality of it now. With NIL and stuff, it is a business. So I was this really good insight onto the reasonings behind all this. Coaches playing the chess game is what they're ultimately doing. That's the reality of it. It's 2025 and it's not going anywhere. So
yeah. Well, and I like I get everything below is rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And put out your rankings, and thank goodness Dan Meskey was on here, and he's like, that doesn't mean anything to us. He's like, because I talked with one Ellie Strucker, who's very good, and we left her off our edit. I thought somebody complained about what we had her evaluated at.
Mm-hmm.
And she very nicely sent a message, and she's like, hey, I'm a top 50 recruit. And I'm like, according to who?
Right.
Yeah, you may be, but according to who? Prep, whatever. And again, who makes that? Because I could go to Coach Meskey and say, do you set up your big board according to prep whoever? And you start laughing.
Yeah.
So if you want, and when we've done it now, I understand, and people be like, oh, you just set your stuff up for people you like. No, we don't. I explained to you yesterday.
Right.
And after you understood it, you really liked how PPV.
Really cool concept. And I wish like people, I would love to get that out more and keep it, because I think it's a really cool method.
Thank you.
That you have going.
Yeah. Well, you can, and thank you. And it's not me. And like I said, it's a higher level of thinking, which is what college coaches do. I'm not a college volleyball coach, but I was a college coach. When we recruit, it's not just a get up and, hey, what the heck? I think I'll do a ranking today. It's a way, and it's not a, hey, I'm going to throw out a ranking today. It evolves, it moves, it's a big board. It's like the NFL draft. You have a big board that it's like a work. It's a work of art. Like an NFL big board moves for a recruiting class, moves constantly.
Right.
Right. And then a kid declares early, and then it moves a month before the draft. And then a kid blows out their ACL, and your whole board that you've studied for 6 months just changes a week before the draft.
Right.
And so for somebody just to say, here's our rankings. No, like great one is Danielle Whitmire. Love Danielle Whitmire. We were the first ones to advocate for her when she was still doing more attacking in the 6'2" than setting. We were the first ones at NTDP to boost her PPV was higher than her rankings were.
Right.
Okay? We're the first ones on board. Before Penn State was Penn State again. Okay.
Right.
We were on their class. Kendall Northern, first interview she did. Okay. So that's what upsets me is when somebody we did our America's 200 and people just don't understand it. So they rip it, and it's not me doing, you and I talked about that. I'm the first one to tell people how dumb I am. Like I'm dumb. I'm not doing the rankings, people. Now, if it comes to you telling me, hey, their volleyball ability is very close, I can tell you attitude.
Right.
And I can tell you who a coach would take, culture-wise.
Right. And that's why I think it should be like maybe we do a special just on PPV. I don't know if you've already done it. I haven't seen it, but so it can be further explained. Because like I said, it's a great. It alleviates the favoritism. It alleviates the who's kind of thing, and the again I'm just gonna say favoritism of what it is, and more so on stats and performance and these abilities of these young athletes. So I think it's a really cool concept once people understand what really is behind it.
Right. Well, and it's taken from. I mean, we did spend a year. We did spend a year asking coaches, how do you what's important when you recruit? And when a coach says, hey, if you're 6'2" rather than 5'11", that matters. I mean, they'll tell you that. Now, a coach isn't going to come on here and say that. Why? Because people, know that. But anyways, and so I appreciate it, and it is good, but we just don't. People come on there because they want to show somebody something, and clubs do that because they want to advertise, and they want something they can slap up on social media and say, hey, look, and I get it, and kids want, athletes want the same thing, and that's why they don't come back, hey, these guys ranked me number 10 and you had me 29th. Well, you're an idiot. And then guess where they get recruited? A program that is like 29th on our pyramid. But they don't call back and say, you were right. We don't get those. But, and that's okay. But it's like, I'm not doing it because we don't like you. We're just trying to explain we've been through this, and they don't look at your ranking. They really don't.
Right.
I mean, if the athletic director was paying a college coach to look at somebody's ranking, they wouldn't be paying them very long, right? They'd pay the prep whatever guy to coach. They do that. But I go through. I want to talk about Elena Hookie is coming on tonight, and I'm pumped. But we talked about this earlier in the year, and her commitment, even though it's down on the list a little bit, she committed to Minnesota, and that was big. That was big, and it led with Keegan Cook, and it kind of got that class going because she committed early, and she had many offers. She had many offers on the table, but it just got that class rolling. And I do want to say, I've always been hard, not on Keegan Cook. I'm just a bitter 35-year scorned Minnesota sports fan. So I just have a hardened heart for Minnesota sports, but I am excited to talk to Elena tonight because she's living my dream and is on a scholarship now at the University of Minnesota.
Right.
And that's what I always wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
So she's my idol now. She's doing something I literally wanted to do and couldn't do. So, but how about his freshman class with all their injuries with the Gophers and how well his freshmen have stepped in?
Wild. Wild. And we talk that Minnesota is always a big topic on and in the chats, in the pages and stuff like that, because it's just wow, what a young team, way to come in and step up to the plate. It was just, injury, just boom, boom, boom. And we're just like fingers like, please, nothing else, please, nothing else. But these freshmen have just literally been so impressive, across the board, for Minnesota to be even where they're at right now. Impressive.
And I actually texted Keaton because him and I have disagreed on several things. And but I love how straight up he is with me. And I texted him and I said, I love watching your team play. And this was after the second injury. But I said, Minnesota fans will cheer their rear ends off for this team. No matter how many matches they lose, they will cheer their rear ends off for this team, no matter the record, because all they care about is how hard this team plays, how hard any team plays. And this team plays their butt off, and they can live with that, right? Like these guys play so hard, overmatch, undermatch, whatever. They leave it all on the court every night, and you can be proud of that. I mean, I think any coach can, right? Like that's what you want. And these are all your recruits, coach. And coaches get that. Like you don't need somebody to text you that. But I'm like, because I knew that was the first class that we followed.
Oh yeah.
First year, and Carly Gilk and I'm trying to, Swenson and came to my event, the event we had here in Sioux Falls, and Kenny and.
Yes, my girls played against her here in Florida. Kenny is so impressive. I've followed her, for a minute, but they're just phenomenal. Like this freshman class, the fact that they stepped up to the plate, in the Big Ten Conference of all conferences, it's quite impressive to see them still ranked and where they're at now.
They're I don't know if I want to read half this guy's comments are cut off, but another one on Gigi Artios from also from Florida, but went to Georgia, and Georgia has a class inside the top 20, but they made an impact on this class. And we'll get to it tonight when we go through our top 25. But they made an impact on this class.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Sydney, we'll bring you in just a second. It's a good segue to gal who's going to be on this our next storyline. But Gigi was right away day one. And she played for Tribe, and she was at the time top 10, right? And you probably remember from maybe coached against her with Tribe. I don't know if your team, right? And big time arm, 6 rotation, of course. But Georgia going out and getting her right away, and then she had they got 3 legit players, and they're a top. I'll have to scroll over and look. But where do we have them? Yeah, we have them 12th. We have them 12th, number 12 class in the country, and so I thought that was a huge commit for them to start this to start this 26 class for Georgia, and they were a big storyline for us all along. And a couple other ones just real quick before we let Sydney in here as our next guest. But then Raina Christensen from Creighton was a big one, and that was literally right away. I think I think I might have got that notification before I was up, but I was barely up. And then Mallory Matheny, we talked to Sarah, her teammate, this morning, but Mallory, and that was after about week 1, but that just kind of gave Indiana, and it opened everybody's eyes like, whoa, because there was a lot of talk like Ohio State needed that.
They need a lot.
And
So.
And that, that whole Mintonet team was so good. And they, with, Matheny and Soberger going to Indiana, it gave Indiana a ton of momentum, and really kind of got their class rolling for them. And then just kind of finishes up. Brooke Harwood, I have Brooke Harwood, UCLA, was a big commit. Brooke, we have as I think the number 2 overall middle in this class. She has continued to get better. That commit looks better and better and better since she committed. But at the time, she was a big name for Arizona Storm, and that was the first big commit for that staff at UCLA. And then they added their big time bro out of Cali in that class, and the first, legit, I think, signing class. I hadn't followed them a ton, multiple years before, but gave them a really nice class. And
yeah, with them being, the 14th rank, I haven't seen in recent time really UCLA getting, these big recruits like this. So I think this is going to be great for UCLA.
Scott. Scott says the portal and not necessarily recruiting may level things off. Not getting playing time due to another player getting. All right, so Scott, this is a good question. The school's plan in recruiting, there was a belief that Wisconsin was going after the setter that committed to Kansas. I don't know who the belief was, but people again, I guess, and you could probably talk more on this because you're in the chat boards, but I guess it just depends who the belief is.
Yeah, that one, I don't know.
He's talking about Marissa Jones. But
got you.
There wasn't. That was out very early.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't hear much else about any of that. So I was like,
and then lo and behold, Wisconsin was looking at Champion.
Right.
Champion, that I knew that. I mean, again, I guess it depends what circles.
And that's the thing, is it's a lot of speculation and stuff like that. I mean, so
I guess if you go on the, on Volley Talk, you're going to read a lot of stuff.
A lot of speculation on Volley Talk. I try to stay off of that because it's just, a lot of the time it's annoying information that's just like, it's people's thoughts. Sometimes it's real, sometimes, the majority of the time it's not. So,
I have my, Yeah. I just I have my sources that I trust, and I ask them when I can print stuff and when I can't, and
Right.
we do. And I slowed that down because one of them, I think, got paid to lie to me last year at Final Four, and so I stopped doing that and learned the hard way, right? So I just keep a lot more of my stuff to myself, and so it's on there, and but I don't think, again, when you're on those things, that's why they're on those things.
Right. That's why he was going. But before we bring her on, I'm gonna get running. I should be back later on for the evening podcast.
Awesome, bud. That sounds good. I'm gonna finish up with Sydney and then go through a couple stories, and we'll see you. Coach Skinner's gonna be on about
Right.
4:45 my time, but hop on whenever you can, and then we'll have more time to go through a lot more of the rankings and talk about that tonight. So
Sounds
awesome.
good.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. All right.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, Sydney,
Hi.
how are
What's
you?
everything? I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Good to talk to you again.
Yes, it's been quite a minute.
It has been. Well, that's what happens in volleyball. You guys,
That's for sure.
commit, and then you stick to your word like you should. And it's that football where everybody commits and decommits and commits and decommits, and then we got to talk to you every month. So I'm
Exactly. It'd be a crazy world.
glad. It is. How have you been?
I've been actually pretty good. We just ended high school season here, and we actually just had our signing day like in our amazing athletic office, with all of our amazing trophies and everything behind us. But super excited.
I saw in your. Did you guys win another championship?
We actually came up short, unfortunately, but we definitely played an amazing game. We went to five with this amazing high school from further up north, and we went to the last set was 15-12. We just came up short, but definitely an amazing season. And not everyone gets to say they made it to states 3 times in 3 years. So
I, you know what? You better make sure you don't end up being some 53-year-old who starts a volleyball site, because that's exactly what I did. Now, I did not go Division I in anything, but same thing. That's what my basketball team did. We lost my last game ever, and but we did the same thing. It's a great honor to be there. But let's talk
exactly.
about your commitment, and I still love it. You were being looked at by a lot of different schools,
Hmm.
and it was kind of a eye-opening moment in the recruiting cycle when you committed to American University, and I got to interview you. And let's talk about that. Why you picked American?
Yeah, I feel like definitely everyone always has like their boxes that they want to tick off their list. And I feel like overall, like American was just it ticked pretty much every box for me. It's in an amazing city. There's so many opportunities, like just outside of it, like internships and everything. They have an amazing, well-known business program that I'm really interested in, much like a lot of other student athletes. And I connected really well with the coaching staff and with all the players and everything, and I'm super excited to head out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, but I loved it because we and a lot of people preach looking into what is best for you, right? And you got to
Mhm.
do, volleyball is only a small part. But when it comes down to it, it's really hard to not say yes to the logo.
Mhm.
And you get that. And it's that allure. And I've told athletes this for years. I would be guilty. I'm sure I would grab the biggest logo. And you truly looked at everything else and bypassed some bigger logos for what was truly best for your future outside of volleyball.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's cliche, but it really did feel right like when I was up there.
And I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, no matter the name, no matter like what your situation is, they had exactly what I needed and what I was ready for. And I'm super excited. And they're actually top of our conference right now. They've been playing amazing 14 straight games, straight wins. And I'm super excited to be cheering them on from home. And I can't wait to get there. So it's definitely, even though like if they aren't like this big name or this huge, like, oh, everybody knows who they are, like it doesn't really matter much as long as I'm the one that cares. I'm the one that's going. So
Yeah, and before I get some message from an AU alum or coach or whatever, I wasn't done. I was simply saying there were larger volleyball programs that had offers to you.
oh yeah.
I was saying that they're a very good mid-major program as well, because they had a great season last season and are off to a terrific start and playing great volleyball now. I was just simply making the point that you're one of the few athletes that sometimes says, hey, I'm going to take the total package, not just go for the biggest logo.
Oh yeah, for sure. I totally understand. Sorry if
Oh,
sorry if
no.
it made it seem that way.
You and I do, but a lot of times I'll get the message later on like, hey, you said our volleyball program's horrible. No. I'm commending you and saying you picked a great program and a place where you're getting everything you want. And when you did it, I was so happy for you that you made a great choice all around. But they're playing great volleyball, and it's a solid volleyball program.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh, no, thank you. I love that you made a great decision, and that's why I wanted to have you on again, so more athletes can mimic your decision and know they can have the best of both worlds. Yeah. So what? Talk about though the feel, because you just talked about everything. The staff, they really sold it to you when you went, during the recruiting part. They sold everything else to you, during your recruiting. So talk about that.
Yeah. So before I even went to camp, like I went to camp around, I think July. So I've been committed there for like over a year now, over like a year and what, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
And I had had a couple of calls with them like from June 15th, like they had sent me a message and everything. And I think we had 2 or 3 calls before I ended up going to campus. And like we were driving actually from a different camp coming to like the city and everything and driving through, and it was late at night and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really pretty. Because I had never been to DC. But I had like we drove through and like went to the facility the next morning. I was like, oh my gosh, like this isn't anything what I expected. I had no clue. Like obviously they had shown me like maps of like what the campus looked like and everything on our calls, but I just didn't know what it was supposed to look like in real life. And once I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. It's honestly the prettiest campus I've ever been on. Not to be like, oh well, I'm going there, but like it really was something so beautiful. And then like once we got to the actual like volleyball part, we're inside all the athletic facilities. I was really happy to see like just how like it was very pristine, very nice. And I was sorry about the background, but um yeah, I was just super excited to be there. And then like as we're taking the tour, I had really just connected with everything that they were saying and like how I guess each building was, how do I explain it? They each have like their own little pretty design and everything, and that really stuck with me too, that they take care of like what their buildings look like. And um even just you can see it from all the windows, like even if we couldn't go inside, like you could see that they keep it nice and like structured. It was simple things like that that kind of just like clicked in my brain, where it was like, oh my gosh, like this is really cool to see. I couldn't wait to be like, oh my gosh, I could be here. This could be my new home type of thing. So I kind of felt, I guess if you kind of think of it like a feeling, it felt like fuzzy. I was like, oh my gosh, like that excited kind of feeling.
That's awesome. What are you going to go in January or the end of the year?
The end of the year. Yeah, I'll be graduating normally.
Yeah, nice. Do you get to then will you be up there like during the summer?
I think it depends on the year. Like I've talked about it a little bit, but we haven't gone into super depth and everything. But I think the official call-in is around like the beginning of August, like around August like 4th or something. But I think the commits from this past year came in around end of June, early July. So it could be between those kind of dates kind of thing.
That's awesome. How about will you do club then again? Will you do club for 18s?
Yeah, I'm actually up at Jupiter this year playing with their team.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I know. It's so hard to track everybody with 18s. When they do come back, they move around to try and get teams together, and it's
Yeah.
confusing. But will you do they will have, yeah, because the American will be in their conference tournament.
Mhm.
I believe Patriot League has a conference tournament, so that should be coming up in, God, probably just a week, maybe
Yeah, I
2
think
weeks.
it's a week from now. Yeah, I think end of the week next week is what they were saying.
I
But
love
yeah,
it.
super excited.
I know, conference tournament time. I understand why they don't, because they get to have more non-conference games. But I love when college basketball does conference championship week.
Hmm.
So I love that the SEC is having a conference tournament, and I selfishly I wish everybody had a conference tournament at the end of the year. So I love conference tournaments. So I'll be watching. I'll be sitting on my couch watching next week when they start those. But hey, I just want to say it was been great to meet you and hear your story a year ago and hear why and your reasoning. And I just wish you the best of luck and congrats on your big decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thinking it through and the reason, your reasoning for making your decision. And congrats on picking a great program.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on too.
absolutely. Yeah, and we'll retweet it and tell your story, and in our write up on the website, we'll put that in there for sure. And best of luck to you, and really cool you did it the right way, and hopefully many athletes follow you. So Sydney, best of luck, and good luck at American this summer. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Take care, Sydney. We'll see you.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So Sydney, wrapping up our last guest for this afternoon's segment. A couple things we'll go through as I wrap up, and having Derek in really helps, and he will go through with me tonight our rankings, and really thank him. Apologize. We'll get some smaller files so we can actually put the graphics up on here tonight, and we'll hear from Coach Sam Murder from SMU, Coach Craig Skinner from Indiana. Kentucky will join us. Kristen Kelsey from Michigan State will join us. We will have, I believe, the entire 2026 signing class from the University of Kentucky is going to hop on. And let me see who else. Okay, my agenda here. Oh, yeah. We have Nadia Johnson coming on, Elena Hookey from Minnesota, All-American Reese Shugart from Auburn is going to, Ryan Sadler, who we talked about with Coach Ulmer. Ryan Sadler is going to hop on tonight. And who else? Oh, yeah, Lizzie Robinson, club teammates, Lizzie Robinson and Addie Cody, our high school teammates, excuse me, but Oregon and a USC commit, Big Ten rivals now. That sounds weird still to say, but they'll hop on tonight. So we still have a really cool list tonight, and we're going to go until we just get everything done. And we will also be going through, let's see, what do we have for information? We're going to go through our top 25 class rankings. We're going to go through our Big Ten, SEC, ACC and Big 12 conference rankings. We're going to tell you how we do our All-American list, but we're actually going to release our All-American list on the website tomorrow or Friday. And then we're going to go through our final top 10 position rankings. And then we are going to talk about, we went through our top 10 recruiting wins of the class. I'm going to talk about the my top 10 stories, recruiting stories from the class, athletes that I got to know, or just stories that came up through recruiting that I thought kind of made the class. And then I'm going to talk about 8 programs that have a little recruiting heat after their classes, the non-Nebraskas, the non-Texas, programs that are on the rise and really help themselves with this recruiting class. And some that are on the rise, along with all of our guests. And we're going to hear some more questions from the nerds and see what they bring to the table. So a lot going on tonight. And I thank Scott Yackey for his questions from Wisconsinville. That was great. We will break down again our top 25 classes, dive a little bit more in depth on them. And we will talk about each of them a little bit more. Won't spend a ton of time on each class, but we'll talk about them. We're also going to talk about some programs that help themselves, but also some programs that maybe drop the ball a little bit in 2027 and could help themselves a little bit more. And then we're going to touch on the elephant in the closet, if you will, or the elephant in the room, if you will, and that's the domino effect that is about to happen. And I talked about this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago when I was in Austin, and that is what is going to happen at the setter position come this off season, when the former freshman player of the year hops back in, and Izzy Stark joins the program, and what that's going to do for the rest of the volleyball world, and how that's going to affect not only college setters, but that also affects this class and potentially the 2027 class. And something, if you dive into recruiting like we do, a move like that not only affects the portal, but it affects these athletes that might just be signing today or next year, etc. So one move can affect quite a few people, quite a few classes. So a lot more to hopefully get to tonight, and interview some great athletes, some great coaches, and talk about some classes and some teams. If you have questions about your favorite team, go ahead and drop us a line, and we'll see what we can do to analyze their class and how they did tonight. So I'm going to take my dogs for a quick run and stretch out a little bit and see if I can upload those files. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there this afternoon. And to all of you athletes that signed, congratulations, no matter where you sign, no matter what division, what level, congratulations. You are a 1%er, and you're accomplishing a lifelong dream, and something very, very few people get to do. It does not matter. You have made it to the next level, and all of your hours of hard work and dedication have paid off. It does not matter. You are moving on, and pat yourselves on the back. You have accomplished something that very, very, very few people in this country get to do. And that's a high five to you. You are now a college-bound volleyball player, and nobody can take that away from you. So congratulations, everybody. We'll be back, like I said, about 4:30 to preview, and then Coach Skinner is going to join us about 4:45 Central Time, 4:45, 5 o'clock, and we'll kick things off with him. It's National Signing Day 2026 headquarters, and we'll see y'all in a little bit.